This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. The music didn't play. Oh well. Hey, what the hell, right? Gotta throw you guys off a little bit. Gotta throw you off a little bit. Yeah. Yep. So hold on. We're using StreamYard again. See how that works. All right. So the StreamYard numbers at the top. This is going to be for your true crime stories, things that you were involved with. If you were ever part of like witnessed a crime or were involved somehow, you probably wouldn't want to call in if you were actually involved as the perpetrator of a crime. But sure. I don't have any idea what that means, Doman. Anyways, I got my second Pfizer shot today at 12:15. My arm's starting to get a little sore. I'm a little bit nervous that I might have some side effects. You know? I'm sort of feel a little weird, you know. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I know we're not doing Delphi tonight, but we got to keep on going for, you know, we're on a new month now. Yeah. All right, let's see. Yeah. And I want like new callers. I don't want the same people that call in every single time. You know, there's got to be other people that actually have some true crime experiences, right? Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm going to have some side effects. Just the way I feel. It's been 7 hours. We'll see how I feel after 10. Yeah, Pfizer's the best one. It's better in terms of side effects. I guess what I learned today was that Moderna has a little bit more coverage, like in different sort of. I know it's kind of this weird thing. My brother was talking about that at some point they might sort of combine the different ones to have more. So if you have a story that you were involved with, then what you do is you call in and explain the story, but you got to be pretty specific. Tell us where on the map, because we like to go to that location and sort of follow along as if we're physically there. No, that's not what we're doing. We're telling people are calling in, Doman. You got to read the title once in a while. Yeah, I can. Let me show you guys. Here it is. Look. So here is that's her membership right there. It's right on the screen. Mom hates ads. It's right there. It was just one that I cropped out of many. So It's there. I don't know why. She probably needs to sign back in or out. Except me, Leah. Isn't that weird? Everybody's nice. Yeah. Oh, we already got somebody calling in over there. Okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna turn the sound off. Thanks, Lee D and Sarita. Look at the two Aussies. Thanks. All right, here we go. We already have a call. Let me see how I got to remember how to set this up. So do I do this one?
Hello.
Yeah, hold on a second. I didn't look right. Okay. Hello, who's this? This Sandy?
Hi, my name is Sandy. I'm actually Sandy Toronto. I've spoken to you over email before. I saw my mother being dismembered when I was 6 years old.
Oh, jeez. I don't remember that in email. you,
That's
you
kind of
would
hard
think,
to forget, right?
yeah, you'd think I would remember that.
My mother's name is Marie Ann Watson.
Okay.
And if you'd like, I can put a link in the chat for you to her subreddit if people are interested and want to take a look at it.
Yeah, you well, let's see.
So my mother was in a custody battle over myself and my brother when I was 6 years old. We were with foster parents. My mother had gone into she was in jail for prostitution and possession of controlled substances. She was going to be in jail for a year.
Where is this taking place?
In Emmett, Idaho.
And how do you spell that? M-E-M?
And
how do you spell Emmett, Idaho?
E-M-M-E-T-T.
Oh, I wouldn't have come close. And what year about?
It was 1977 when she disappeared, quote unquote.
Okay. And she disappeared, but you remember, you actually saw it. I mean, so the detectives knew that she wasn't alive at that point, right?
They did not know that she wasn't alive. I was 6 years old, and they did do an investigation. Their investigation consisted of asking the foster mother, what happened when you last saw Marie? The foster mother said, well, we were driving and we went off the road into a snowbank, and this black car pulled up with some dirty guy in it. And Marie jumped out and she ran over and talked to this dirty guy. And then they got into the car and drove away together. And that's the last time I ever saw her. That was the entire investigation in 1977.
Well, how did you? I thought you said you saw her being dismembered. How did she get into?
Yes, they did not talk to me. They did not ask any of the foster kids anything. They asked Dorothy, the foster mother, and that was it. That was the end of the investigation. But from my standpoint, what happened was the foster parents, told me, if anyone ever tries to take you away from us, we'll kill them. And my mother was in a custody battle over us. I begged my mom after they said that to me, please just take us and run away. Take my half brother and I, and please just run away. We can live in the hills or something. I was a child. I didn't really understand. You can't just run away and live in the hills. So I was begging her.
So the foster
begging her.
Okay, the foster parents didn't want to lose their money coming in, right?
That was part of it. It's very much more complex than that, because Dorothy and Mike, well, Dorothy specifically is my mother's aunt. So she would be my great aunt.
And your mom's name was Marie Watson? Is that it?
Marie Ann Watson.
Ann, like A-N-N, right?
A-N-N.
Okay.
Marie, Marie, Ann, Watson, Watson.
Okay. Let me. And that was 1977. You said.
1977, yes.
Okay. I'm just trying to get it all mapped out and see if I can. I'm actually trying to see if I can find it somewhere, like in a.
I
In,
did put a link here in chat. I'll put it in again.
I'm not sure that works because you have to be a moderator. You mean in our
Oh,
chat
okay.
over here in Stream Yard?
Yeah,
Uh,
I was trying to put it in there. Yeah, it looks like it's going in there. It looks like it from my standpoint.
uh, okay. Well, let's go. Just keep telling the story, I guess.
So after I begged my mother to just take us and run, which she couldn't do because, as I said, she was in the court battle over us. One night I was up. I think I had to go to the bathroom, whatever, and I was hiding downstairs because I was very abused. The foster parents were extremely abusive, and
Like in
I
a
was
physical,
hiding
like a
from them
physical.
because I heard them talking.
So there was like physical abuse, not any sexual abuse.
Correct.
Okay.
There was physical abuse, sexual abuse.
Oh,
They
all of it.
were, yes. I ate dog food on the floor because they did not consider me to be a human being
Wow.
because I was thought to be retarded at the time. I'm autistic. I'm an autistic adult, and they thought I was retarded. So they gave me dog food, and I was not allowed to eat at the table like actual humans.
Wow.
And that
That's
just kind of gives you the concept, overall concept of how they were. They literally tortured me.
yeah. We've had some similar stories like that, haven't we? I don't know if you've been how much you watch the show, but we've had other foster parents that are barbarians like that.
Yes. When the Turpins, I don't know if you know who the Turpins are,
Yeah. Yeah. We covered that.
when that when that story broke, that I thought, I know what those kids went through.
Yeah.
Um, they thought nothing of killing animals. They butchered routinely, and they had what is kind of traditionally called a charnel pit, which is a place where you throw bones and pieces of dead things in it. And that was in our living room. That was actually in the living room. They slaughtered animals in the living room, and we ate them. And uh, so,
Jesus.
that was just the atmosphere of the whole thing, that the house
I mean,
smelled of
didn't blood
this
get all over the
charnel
place?
pit. It was,
Yeah. Didn't blood get all over the
I'm sorry.
place? Didn't blood get all over the
Yes,
place?
yes, it did. And they were not clean people. They actually killed them outside, and then they brought them inside, and that's where they would drain the blood. So it wasn't splattered all over the walls, as far as they didn't do the actual killing in there, but there was bones, and they would dress them in there. Uh, I don't know if people know what that means, but you take out the viscera.
Yeah. That's just
So
horrendous.
that I
So
was very familiar with slaughtering. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
no, no, I didn't say anything.
Okay.
You might want to
Uh,
turn down, like, I don't know if you're using your phone, but you got to turn down the audio from the show. The YouTube show, you can't have that playing. You just have to talk to me, like,
I don't have that on, and in fact, I can actually barely hear you. Let me
really
try something different here real quick.
testing. No, I think I'm pretty loud. Am I loud to you guys out there on the stream? I wonder if I don't know how that works. Why it would be like that?
I'm trying to get this to play through my headset,
Okay,
and it won't play through my headset. Can
okay.
you hear
Well, just
me?
yeah, yeah. Just tell your story, and I'll try not to interrupt you that much.
Okay, I apologize. Yeah, I've turned
Can
it
you?
up as loud as I can for me to try to hear it. on
Do you
my
have the
phone, and I
address
just can't hear it.
before we get further
Oh,
though? If you could show me the address, do you know where that is?
it's 5611 Cascade Road.
Oh, that house looks like it's gone now.
Yes, they were planning on breaking down the house, removing it. However, when it goes to Cascade Road, it doesn't actually go straight to the right place.
Uh huh. Oh, is it the
It's,
house to the left of it a little bit?
yeah, right where the road, yes, a little to the left, further to the left, further to the left. Nope, past
Okay.
that one. Left past that.
Okay, keep
No,
going.
the other way. Right where in that where the road comes down and then there's the river, it's that one. You're basically, yeah, yes, right there. If you zoom in right there, that's the correct.
Okay, so this house right here, or the one to the left of it.
The the one I'm seeing on mine is different than there. Yes. So
Cool.
if it's that one that's basically bracketed by the river and the road to the right.
Yeah. See, here's the problem. You're watching YouTube. I can tell because if you were watching StreamYards, you would be exactly on time with me how I'm moving around. Right. So you're watching the YouTube video, right?
Well,
That's
I'm
like
trying to watch it in my
because
phone.
right. But I think if you were just on, I'm just trying to tell you this technically. If you're using the
Okay.
StreamYards app and you're watching the screen, you'll be right with time with me. But if you're watching, you're 20 seconds behind on YouTube at least. So when I'm moving around, it makes it really difficult. So right now on the screen, is that the house?
To the left further.
Okay, so this house right here, that's kind of a junk.
Yes, correct. On the screen that I'm seeing on my phone, not on YouTube, that is the correct house if you zoom in right there.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yes, that's it.
Man, that's a nightmare. Or just looking at that. I mean, I'm sure. Are they still there? Or?
It is owned by some of the family, not the same family anymore.
Okay. All right. So maybe tell us the story from on a what happened on that particular day, or unless
Yeah,
you have.
and that
More.
on that night, I was hiding at the corner of the house. I'm sorry. The first part of it, I was hiding downstairs inside the house. I heard their voices and I looked out to see what was happening. I saw Mike, the foster father, walk into the room carrying my mother. I guess they call it bride style. And
Oh, yeah, over the
her
shoulder.
her head didn't her head wasn't at the right angle. I immediately knew that she was dead. The angle that her head was at was a it wasn't right, and her arm was dangling down, and I knew she was dead. And in that moment, I just felt like I had lost all hope, and I also felt like it was my fault because as a 6-year-old, and when I was begging her to take us and just run away, and they said if anybody does, kill them, and being 6, I thought that was my fault. My mother was dead and it was my fault.
Yeah, well, they're just monsters. It wasn't your fault or anything. Why was your mother over there? That I mean, did they go get her from somewhere, or did she come over to the house?
They the best they've been able to put it together is that Dorothy and one of my foster brothers were in the car with Marie, with my mom, when they were driving home from from Oregon. They had gone to Oregon to see a psychiatrist, and they were driving back, and Raymond, I knew him as Raymond, but his name is Ramon, Ramon, Rogers, Rogers. He's now a serial killer on death row in San Quentin.
He was one of the foster parents.
He was my foster brother at that time. He was 17, I was 6.
Oh, wow.
They now think that he was in the car with my mother and my foster mother.
But he's
And
related
that
to them, right? Like he's their kid, real kid.
he was not their child. He was another foster child.
Oh wow, Jesus. They
Yes.
might have even made him. How long had he had been a foster child with
As
them?
far as I know, most of his life he had been with them.
Oh man,
And I do think that they made him.
a serial killer. Yeah, that's crazy. That's the nurturing. That's the
Yes,
nurturing
yes.
version of a serial killer. Yeah. Huh.
He liked it, though. He did not, I think he fit in with them.
What was his name again?
That's a whole nother conversation if you want to talk about that after, because he definitely enjoyed being a serial killer.
And what was his full name again? Ramon.
Ramon, Ramon,
Yeah.
Rogers, Rogers. And you should be able to find his Murderpedia very, very easily.
Yeah, you've made it as a serial killer if you're on Murder
Yeah,
Feed.
he dismembered 3 people that they know of. He was in the car with my mother and foster mother, and they believe that he was sitting in the back seat and that he reached up and sliced my mother's throat.
Was it something that they told him to do, you think?
No, I don't think so. Remember I talked about slaughtering?
Mm-hmm.
That's how you slaughter an animal. You cut their throat
Right.
and then they bleed out. And that's, he was taught how to do that. And in fact, they would make the boys, Mike would make the boys choose a pet. He would make them care for it and watch over it. And then he would make them kill it. And that was his idea of making them strong young men. You have to be willing to kill anybody to care for your family. No matter how much you love them, you have to be ready and willing to kill them. And that was how he, quote unquote, taught them to be strong.
Yeah.
So I have no doubt whatsoever that absolutely they made him.
And is he the person? Okay, so he killed your mom, but then somehow when they came back home, the foster father was carrying her over his shoulder, kind of. Is that what you're saying?
No, no, bride style, like in
That's what I
his
was thinking.
arms in front of himself.
Oh, I thought bride style would be like over the shoulder. So, okay, so in his
I,
arm.
I,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like carrying somebody over the threshold.
a threshold, yes.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
Yes, I'm sorry. I don't know what it's called, but he was carrying her that way into the house, and they were having an argument. I saw him carry her in, and they took her upstairs.
But hold on one second. Who was having the argument?
Mike, the foster father, Dorothy, the foster mother, and Ramon, the foster son.
Okay, all right. And the foster father was carrying her in your mother Marie
Yes,
in his
he was
arms.
carrying her in.
Okay.
I watched as they went through and up the stairs. I couldn't see them once they started going up the stairs. And the next part that I remember is being upstairs, and I was sneaking into if it were in the basement, I would call it like a root cellar, but it was just, food pantry, I guess, upstairs. The kitchen was downstairs, but this food storage area was upstairs. And they had a fake backing to one of the cabinets or one of the shelves where they kept guns. The guns were gone, and my mother was in there, and there was just a little light from coming in from outside. and I could see her face, and she had a big cut like on her cheek. Her bone was sticking out just a little bit, and her eyes didn't look right. And I remember just thinking as a child that her eyes didn't look right. And I was just kind of frozen until I heard them again. And then I just remember running out the door. That's all I remember.
So you saw her through the like there was a little crack in there, but she wasn't alive at that time, right?
She wasn't alive. And I actually saw her in this gun cubby that they had. It was this big cubby, and she was scrunched up in like a fetal position and shoved in there. And there
So you
was a little light coming in through the crack of the door of the like closet or pantry. And I
Mhm.
could just barely see her in that light.
So you kind of, man, that's just crazy. So what? How did you get to be there by yourself, looking at her in there?
I don't know. And that was something that in a subsequent investigation later, they kept trying to get me to explain why, why were you there? How did you get there? And I just couldn't explain it. And finally, they talked to a child psychiatrist who
Hmm.
said that's actually the way that children remember. You wouldn't remember, do I remember? Was I down there because I needed to go potty? I don't remember. I remember the most traumatic part, but not, the mundane thing in between of going up the stairs or why I was there or any of that. And I struggled so badly to try to remember those things, and I just can't.
So, okay, so after that, what happened? I mean, you see her in there, and then
Right. The next part of the memory that I have was being outside, squatting at the corner of the house, and she disappeared in late November. So it was cold, and I was outside. I was shivering and cold, and I was squatting at the corner of the house in just a little nightie.
like going to the bathroom, right?
Yeah, I think I had originally intended just to go to the bathroom, but I went outside and I was watching them because I heard something that made me go out there. That much I remember. And went out there, and I saw Mike, the foster father, Dorothy, the foster mother, Ramon, my foster brother, and two other people that one of them I didn't recognize, and one of them it was too dark for me to be able to see them clearly. So I don't know if I recognized them or not. But the five people were standing out there, and they were butchering something with a saw. All I could see was them and this pool of light past them that they were all standing around. And as I watched, I saw an arm fall from beside Dorothy and into the light.
Oh, jeez.
And as soon as that arm fell, I knew that that was my mother, that they were sawing my mother with a saw, and they were taking bits of her and throwing them to the pigs because they were doing it right beside the they were doing it beside the pig pen. So they were throwing, it was normal for them to throw scraps of what they were butchering to the pigs. So I knew what they were doing. I understood it. And it was when I saw her arm that I knew it was her and not, it was weird for her for them to be doing it out there
What time of night was?
because that's not where they ordinarily
Yeah, what time was that again?
was not where they ordinarily slaughtered. They usually did it in the house.
Right. What time of night was that again?
I don't know. It was dark. I just know it was pitch black.
And you know what time of year it was?
Well, it was late November, so it would have been late fall, early
Yeah,
winter.
so it would have got dark kind of early. So But they would
I,
probably have waited till quite a bit later in the evening so that some neighbor wasn't driving
I'm
by.
sure they did. Yeah, I'm sure it was late at night, if not early morning.
And where was when I'm looking at this map right now, do you know where the trough was?
The pig pen used to be in the front. If you go to the cars and you look just to the left of the cars, where actually there's that tree right there.
Where? This little thing?
Yes, it's still a little bit to the left. In fact, you can almost make out the square-ish spot.
Okay,
Yep,
where
just a little bit further, right? You just went over it right there. You can almost make out the little square
I'm
spot where the
circling.
pin used to be in 1977.
So I'm circling it right now. Is that
And it
right?
was very small. Yep,
Okay.
it's smaller than the circle you're making.
Okay. Let me see. So right
Right
in right
there.
there.
That used to be the pig pen. And it was, I don't know what that place is there right now,
Mhm.
but that basically is similar to how it looked in 1977. And
Hmm.
the pigs were all over at the trough next to the driveway, and they were killing my mother, or they were dismembering her in the driveway.
So they were doing it right next to the street, kind of in the open.
And they were, yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, see, actually, there, right there, that spot right there that you're looking at right now,
Hmm.
that whatever that is now, that is the place where the pig pen used to be.
Okay, not where I was looking just a second ago.
Right. It
So
it's
this
small like that. It was
okay.
small like that. It was there were only maybe four pigs in there, and they lived in very small, a very, very small area.
Wow.
And there used to be a little building there, like that building over there, not exactly the same, more open than that one.
So what happened after that? So they, dismembered your mom and then
Yep.
fed her to the pigs, and then what happened?
So that was the end of that. And when maybe 6 months later or so, Mike raped one of the other foster girls in front of all of the foster kids.
How many?
And
How many foster kids were there?
there were 7 at the time living there.
Oh, jeez.
And the girl's name was Kathleen. Or at least that's what they called her. They changed all of our names as soon as they got us. And that was something that he did as punishment. He was punishing her by raping her in front of all of the kids. So she escaped and she ran away and she got out of Emmett County or Jim County. When she got out of Jim County and got to other police, they helped her. And there was actually a warrant put out for arresting Mike, the foster father. He was 2 days away from being served the warrant, and we took off across the United States. He packed us in the station wagon and we left.
And where did you go
He
this time?
took us on the run. He took us up into Oregon and then across the country. In the meantime, my grandparents and my mother's husband, Jimmy Watson, started searching for us. Yep. So their private investigator that they hired followed them up into Oregon, but by then they had already left. They went all the way across the country. I don't know exactly what route they took, but
Mhm.
by the time he caught up with us, the private investigator, it was November of 1978, and we were in Arkansas.
Do you know where you went there?
We were in Hot Springs, Arkansas. when Mike was finally arrested. Although what they got him on was a car theft. They got him on a car theft charge. And then he was extradited on the rape charge. They basically said there's nothing we can do unless he does something wrong. And it was that long before he finally did something wrong enough for another state to arrest him and extradite him on the rape charge.
Let me
He,
make a folder. What, Marie Watson, right?
yes, Marie Ann Watson. So they went back to Arkansas, or I'm sorry, they went back to Idaho, but I was taken into foster care, different foster care in Arkansas. In the meantime, Mike was given a light sentence. He was allowed to plead down to incest, even though Kathleen is no relation to him. She was a foster child, not a biological child. So they let him plead down to incest, and he got 5 years.
But in the meantime, weren't people wondering where your
Yes, people were wondering. However, unfortunately, the people who were wondering were just her husband and my grandparents, her parents. Because she was a prostitute and a drug addict, the entire attitude was, well, you know what those people do. Those people, they just run off. It was very whatever, hookers, whatever. You know what they do. Well, in 1996, actually, let me go back to 1994. In 1994, Ramon was arrested in San Diego, California, with a dismembered body in his garage.
And Ramon Watson, right?
Or actually in the, I'm sorry, it was in the
Actually, I forgot. Rogers.
Storage area of his apartment complex. So Ramon had been arrested with his ex-girlfriend's body parts in his storage area. At that time, my grandparents, who I am and was at that time estranged from, they asked the Florida police, which was where I was living in 1996, they asked them to come and make sure that I was who I said I was. So they came and they said, hey, tell us this, tell us that, to say this is who you really are. I answered all their questions. Of course, I was right. And then they said, well, the reason why we're asking you all of this is because your former foster brother, Ramon Rogers, was arrested in San Diego with body parts in his storage area. And we just want to make sure that one of them wasn't you. And I said, would you like to know where he heard about that or where he learned to do that? And they said yes. And I told them what I had seen. So in 1996, I was flown out to Idaho, to Emmett, and I walked over the property and I tried to tell them that they were digging up the pig area as it was in 1996. And I kept trying to tell them, you're digging in the wrong place. It was over by the road. It was over by the road. And they just didn't listen to me. The news was all, oh yeah, they found bones. They found bones. And in fact, they were asking me, what was she wearing when she disappeared?
Wow.
And I said that she was wearing a teal shirt and jeans and a jacket with like sheepskin type lining, or whatever they call it, the like furry lining. And they found a teal shirt with muddy reddish stains on it that they think was blood. They found sawed off bones exactly as I said they would.
Have they
And it
done any?
just petered out. It
Have they
just
done
went
any?
nowhere.
Have they done any DNA testing?
They did send them out, and they came back inconclusive whether it was human or animal.
Hmm.
And that was the end of it. It just kind of petered out.
Well, I mean, they fed your. I mean, I don't want to, but they fed the remains of the pigs, right? Is that right?
They did. And in fact, I mean, I'm sorry, this is really a long, convoluted story. Um,
Well, it's interesting. So go ahead. I mean, it's
the
crazy. It's crazy, and I'm sorry. It sucks that that you were such a little kid that had to see that. It seems like you turned out well, even after seeing something like that.
Thank you. I worked pretty hard to get here. Very, very hard.
Well, good job.
So the issue with the pigs is right across the street, across from the 5611 Cascade Road, there is an actual hog farm, a very big one that had a lot of hogs back then. And they still have that farm. It's still there. That hog farm is still there across the road from where we lived. And
In Arkansas, or where you lived.
right there, 56 Cascade
Okay, but
Road,
I
it's
thought
directly across from it.
well, I thought the hog, she was dismembered right where I thought the
She
hog
was
farm.
dismembered there, and they were
Right.
feeding bits of her to their own hogs.
Oh,
But
I see.
across the road
Oh,
is a huge hog farm.
I see. So they maybe threw like body parts in there, and the pigs ate them up, or what?
Yes. But across the road is actually a big pig farm with a huge pen with hogs in it. And what they said, going on stories that Mike told people that he worked with, going on that, they believe that he fed some of it to their pigs there, but then he put a bunch of it into burlap bags, like potato bags.
Yeah,
Potatoes used to come in these.
yeah,
He,
relax, yeah.
yes. So they chopped the rest of it up. They put it in there, and they took it across the street to the big hog farm, and they threw the bags in there.
Wow. I mean, that's just. Is that just something you knew about, or you were watching this?
That is something that I talked to the police officer frequently from 2018 to 2020 when he quit investigating. They investigated it recently. And that was the story that he told the people he worked with. In fact, he said, "Don't
Who's he?
mess with me. I could kill you. I've done it before,
This Mike?
and I know how to get rid of a body. I'll
Is this
stick it
Mike?
in some burlap bags and throw it to the pigs."
Is this Mike you're talking about?
Mike is the foster father. Yes.
But he's the one that's saying these things, right?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Could you say that again?
Well, he's the one saying the things that you're talking about.
Yes, he's the one that was telling his coworkers, "Don't mess with me. I can kill somebody. I've done it before. I know how to get away with it." And that was the story that he told them. Here's the thing. They did dig up that farm in 2019, and they found some very small fragments of bone that were human. They were a Caucasian female. My mother's white, I'm white. Well, they were a Caucasian female, around 28 years old. She was 27 when she disappeared.
Man, I wonder how they were able to tell that just from bone, like a just a fragment, tiny little fragment.
They did, but the problem is they destroyed the fragment before they were not able to get enough to tell whether or not specifically it was related to me, related to myself and my brother. That would have been the way they could have said it was definitively my mother. And they weren't able to get that.
Well,
They
yeah, but what's
just
crazy,
got
yeah, but what's crazy is that there's actually human bone fragments across the street from your foster parents' house in Idaho, where your mom went missing. There would, I mean, what other reason would there be for human bone fragments to be in the
exactly,
pig farm?
exactly right. It
Yeah,
doesn't make sense. How I'm so upset that they continue to refuse to do anything about this. They have all this stuff and they just,
that seems like pretty good circumstantial evidence. But I bet you it's that your age and the time they're trying they're not thinking a jury would. But maybe they should just give you a chance up there. Why not
I
give it?
really wish they would, but I'll tell you why I think they won't and why they didn't in 1996. Around the 1996, they were coming to the end of the satanic panic stuff.
Mhm.
And I made a mistake in 1996. I didn't know that everything I said to the police officers would be public. I honestly, stupidly was naive and thought what I said to them would be kept private. And I asked them to keep it private. Mike raped me and other children there. And it was done at parties. And I mean, people there with music, laughing, partying, and they called themselves Satanists. And in fact, in the recent investigation, people said, yes, we called ourselves Satanists. We thought it was cool. That's what we were doing back then. So they admitted it. And all of the foster kids in 1996, we had not seen each other except for myself and my brother. We had seen each other, but I had not seen any of the other foster kids. All of us said that this kind of satanic stuff was going on. And I don't mean like I just didn't understand it. Now that I am an adult, I understand that the things that I thought were satanic were literally, if you go to any BDSM website, you can see the stuff I'm talking about with they had chains to go on the kids' arms. They would strap us wide together, spread eagle. And I didn't understand. So I gave the only words I could give it, which I thought it was satanic abuse. And I told him that I thought in confidence. And so most people, when they hear satanic abuse, it's total mental shutdown. Okay, nothing you say is true. You said that, now nothing is true.
Yeah,
And
that
that is,
sounds like one of those like when you first hear it, you think, oh, okay, here we go. It's but it's obviously a real thing because it's out there, right?
yes. And people around there have admitted it. And in fact, here's the part that bugs me, just really gets on my nerves about this. So, according to the cop, his name is Tom Nesbitt, according to him, people were telling him that my mother was the Satanist and she's the one that got them all into it. That's what they're telling Tom, the cop. Oh, her mother was the Satanist. Marie was the Satanist, and she was getting everybody else into it. But now they're going to say, oh, there were no Satanists here. Okay, which one was it? Was my mother getting everybody into it? Or was it not there? Or really, like, make up your bloody minds.
So your other siblings, foster
Said the
siblings,
same thing.
and you see them in '96, they remember everything the same, right?
We had not seen each other since 1979. I had seen, 3 others. My, I was 6. Um,
Yeah, you don't have to read the chat or anything. Just
yeah, I just happened to glance over there. I'm trying to watch, on here. All of us said the same thing. And in fact, if you watch the footage from 1996, they talk about it, that we hadn't seen each other in 19 years and we all said the same thing. Like, we all just made this story up individually out there in our individual places, wherever. And here's the thing, I was afraid to talk about it. I had spent all of the 80s watching people be socially pilloried for saying anything about satanic rituals. So I would not have said it if I thought it was going to be talked about. If I was terrified of being just that they were going to drag me through the mud because I said that word. Oh, no, 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 no. This is between us. You don't have to be afraid of that. And I was afraid of it, and I should have been afraid of it, and I shouldn't have brought it up because it happens still as soon as I bring up that word. No, no. And I'll tell you, just gonna say it honestly. If I was gonna be a pedophile, I'd just bring in some satanic stuff, because the instant the child brings that up, people's minds completely shut down. Nope, doesn't happen. Nope, literally.
Yeah, I can see how that could happen. So after 1996, you guys all got together. But I mean, what's taking so long? I mean, are these?
We actually didn't talk to each other then either.
Still alive? Is he still alive? This Mike guy?
Mike died in 2018.
And what about his wife?
She is still alive, and she's getting dementia and just, completely going off the deep end, as I understand it.
Has she ever written anything down somewhere? You
Uh,
wanted like a diary or something?
Dorothy, I don't know. If you watch the footage from 1996, she's always been extremely hateful, extremely nasty, extremely violent. Remember, these are people who factually tortured me. This woman, to give you some perspective of her, she has never been sane. Never.
What do you mean by
She
footage?
had the,
What do you mean
I'm
by
sorry.
footage? What do you mean by footage from 1996?
If you go to my mother's subreddit, it's reddit.com/r/Marie Ann Watson, all one word. There is a thread in there that has timeline links and other basics, and there's actually some YouTube footage of news footage from 1996.
So reddit.com/r/Marie Watson.
Marie Ann Watson, all one word. And that's the subreddit that I created for her. I have newspaper clippings in there. I have photos. Like, I have very little, but what I have is in there.
Yeah, I couldn't find any of the newspaper.com didn't have these.
Yeah, there's so little.
Oh, weird.
And
So they have they actually went and
I'm sorry?
they're digging through the pig pile right there. I can see it.
Yep.
It's crazy.
They so Mike and Dorothy were both extremely violent in their own ways. And to understand Dorothy, people ask, where is she? I try not to know as long as it's nowhere around me, because this is a woman who had a electric cattle fence. There was one sitting in the living room that they hadn't used. They had been wanting to have horses and and they were going to put it up to have horses. And she would wrap this thing around me. She would turn it on and off and on and off. And that was her punishment for me. One of many.
I think it's just awful that they didn't ever really get punished for it.
They never did.
I mean, all the children should have came forward and just described what the torture they went through and some sort of like charges on that.
They didn't listen to us. They didn't listen to us. Even in 1996, they didn't listen to us.
Yeah, how old were you when you finally did you live with them until you were 18 or what?
No, I was with them until they were arrested in 1978 after Mike was caught for raping Kathleen.
Hmm. Okay, and then they put you with another foster family or
Yes. They put me in foster care for a year in Arkansas, and then my grandparents finally won custody of us, myself and my half brother.
what was this taking so long for your grandparents to get custody? I mean,
They lived in Kansas, and they were fighting for us in court in a completely different state, and they were not wealthy.
yeah, but you're a family, like that. They're family, so I don't know why a family should always win out over foster parents.
Well,
I think.
well, but you have to remember, it's easy to say that, but you have to remember Dorothy's my great aunt. She was family, and that's how she got us.
Oh, you mean? Oh, okay. We didn't know that part.
Yep.
So Dorothy.
Well, that was one of the reasons she knew my mother because they were family. So, that was. There's a big long backstory about how my grandmother may actually be Dorothy's mother, because it was the 40s, 50s, whenever it was. So they would not, if they had children out of wedlock, they would sometimes be left behind to be raised by the parents as the youngest child instead of going with. So when my grandmother went to get married, she couldn't have kids, or she would be a ruined woman. So there are stories in the family that Dorothy is my aunt, not my great aunt. So it's not as simple as, send kids to family. I shouldn't have been given to my grandparents.
Okay.
My grandparents wanted very badly to be good people, and they wanted very badly to do the right thing. They hated me very much. What people don't understand is that after you've been through what I've been through, you don't seem very sane. Okay, so remember, some of you who were here earlier will remember that I had to eat dog food on the floor because I was not a person. And now I'm in another place that was telling me I had to eat at the table like a person because I wasn't an animal. And every time that I was told that by Mike or Dorothy or Raymond or any of the other foster kids, it was a trick.
Your audio is breaking up a little bit.
Getting me to eat regular food took a long time, and getting me to eat at the table took a long time. I would refuse my food, and I would go out and I would steal dog food out from the back porch because I thought they were trying to kill me. I thought they were trying to starve me to death.
Wow, so were you
Mike
made
and
to
Dorothy very nearly.
Were you made to eat dog food? Were you made to eat dog food most of the time when you were living with the?
I was made to eat dog food all of the time with Mike and Dorothy. I was never allowed anything else.
So you didn't know it was like a normal way, sitting at a table.
I didn't know. And in fact, I'm going to tell you this, and I don't talk, this is probably only the second time I've ever actually talked about this out loud. We talked about Ramon and him being the dismembering people and being a serial killer. Well, he used to tell people, you know what's hilarious? You know what would be funny to do? And the reason he knew or thought this was funny is because he did it. He said, what if you killed somebody's mother and then fed it to them and didn't tell them until after? I don't think he really fed me my mother, but I think he told me that he did because I have never been able to eat ham. I cannot even bring myself to eat ham because I ate ham and then he told me I had just eaten my mother. And I had recently seen my mother murdered
Wow, that's crazy.
or dead. I mean, so
That's insane.
I didn't understand how that it was okay for me to finally eat people food.
I was just
And I
thinking.
was terrified of what would happen if I did.
So let me ask you this: do you think the Ramon, now that they know that Ramon exists and he's a serial killer, and they were able to prove that you were living with that person, right? They know that for sure, for certain, right? And then
That's yes, they
then
know that for
then your
sure.
mom, then your mom goes missing, and so that's probably why they're really interested in the case. They just couldn't really, prove something, that bone was your mom's, but it's like, well, who else would it be?
In
Yeah,
1986, they did not think Ramon had anything to do with it.
yeah, and it wasn't until later when he actually got arrested for
He was
things.
17.
Yeah, and then when he got arrested
No,
for
no,
being,
I mean in 1996 when he got arrested. No,
oh
no, no,
shit, you said
no. They didn't think that then. No.
yeah, I know. What I'm saying is when he was once he got arrested for being a serial killer, they probably looked into him and went, oh wow, and then things kind of fell into place in terms of your mother, but they can't prove it, right? Something like that.
No. No, no.
What do you
It
mean? No, no.
wasn't until 2018 when Tom started investigating in 2018, that is the first time that they considered that Ramon might have had anything to do with it.
Oh, they never made a connection that. But maybe they just never were able to say that your mom went missing from a same house that Ramon was
No,
at there,
it
or did.
was me saying that I saw her being dismembered. It was me saying that opened the investigation.
Hmm. Wow, that's crazy, man. That would have been. And had you known that Ramon was a serial killer years and years ago?
I'm
Or
sorry, there's a lot of reverb. I don't know if it's on my end or yours, but could you ask me again, please?
when did you find out that Ramon was a serial killer?
So he was arrested in 1994, and I guess they were going through that whole court process, and it took a long time. It was 1996 when they finally talked to me. And like I said, that was the police came to make sure that I was who I was and that I wasn't one of the bodies.
Hmm.
My grandparents
One of the
were
bodies.
trying.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. One of the bodies. Huh. You mean one of the ones that they found associated with him, the serial killer. Have they identified all the bodies
Correct.
now?
They have, there were two bodies that they found, and then there was a third person who disappeared that they convicted him of. They convicted him of killing his child's mother and his pregnant girlfriend and his best friend.
So does that make him a serial killer? Because it seems like that's kind of more. They're all part of a group. I mean, I know
No,
these
no,
on
no, no.
media, but usually you
No,
have to
so
be
he
unrelated people.
no, so he killed his best friend.
Hmm.
Years passed, he killed his pregnant girlfriend. Years passed,
Mm.
he killed the his son's mother.
Okay, so yeah, I guess the time frame makes a difference. Huh? God, That's weird. So since 1996, they must have been checking into all family members and everything. 1994 even, and they've been looking into everything, and it finally led to you guys. All the different foster. Did they ask all your other siblings too if they were, make sure that they were still alive too, to make sure that they weren't one of the bodies?
They did, and at that time, um, Rocky, one of the foster brothers, was dead. He had basically played chicken with a train and lost.
Yeah,
He
it's
was
never.
drunk, and I mean, it's not too surprising. It's actually more surprising that more of us didn't have things like that. Uh, Kathleen died. She was alive in 1996, but she died, I think he said around 2014, 2015 of a medical issue. The others are still alive, and I
Were
still
you
haven't
the youngest?
spoken with any of them.
Were you the youngest of the foster kids at the time?
I was the youngest, yes.
Yeah, so the rest of them are like you were late 40s, and the rest of them are, or now you are, I would guess,
Yes,
and then
I'm
the rest of them,
49 and
yeah, and the rest of them are probably like 50, 60 maybe. Well, not 60, but late
yes,
50s. Yeah. Okay.
correct.
Huh. So where does it stand right now? Just done? They're just done now, or?
They're they say that they're investigating it, but to my knowledge, they're just Tom, the investigating officer, retired, and he just told me, he said nobody's going to bother with this case. He said the nice thing is that in a few years they might be able to, like, they have one little bone fragment left that they found that was the same as the others and wasn't destroyed. And instead of running a test again, they want to wait for DNA to advance to a point where they can retest that one and actually find out if this human remains found exactly where they expected to find human remains of the exact age and ethnicity of my mother is
Yeah.
actually my mother.
So do they have, how much of a piece of bone do they have? Like a little chip kind of thing, or?
I don't know. Yeah, they're just little tiny fragments.
It seems like right now they do have. That's what we're doing in the 1961 hitchhiking case. You send it to a lab, and then you crush it up to create more surface area, and then you try to extract DNA that way. But this one might be tough because it's just bone, right? There's no.
Yep, yep. Just
Yeah, so you might
tiny
want to
little.
probably 5 or 6 years from now there'll be something that'll you just put it into a little machine, and boom, it comes spits out a perfect genetic profile or something.
Yep.
At least we
And
hope.
the soil. Oh yeah, the soil there is not conducive either.
Well, do you think it might be worthwhile talking to? I mean, like Colleen Fitzpatrick, who we've had on before.
I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know who that is.
Oh well, you must not watch the channel that much, but she's an actual genetic genealogist, and
Ah,
she knows what it takes to extract DNA, and different techniques, and like how much bone you have, and so forth, to what's the best technique to use. And I don't know
yeah,
if
I
you're.
don't know. And I haven't. I've only recently found your channel and become interested in it. So I've been binging a little bit.
You should go back and watch the ones with Colleen Fitzpatrick.
I'll look. I'll look for that.
There's a playlist.
Um,
It's pretty interesting stuff. She comes
I
on every few Fridays or so. Well, here's the thing. We have a fund that's built up. There's $7,000 in it right now for um, Identifinders, which is her company or organization that she works for, and it's a nonprofit that we donated to, and they use it for cases for unidentified people. So I wonder if there isn't funding in this small little town over here that this took place in, if we could cover the cost of something like that.
I don't know. I would love to find out. But one thing I'm going to warn you about,
Hmm.
I have had nothing but problems dealing with the Jim County Sheriff's Department. They have hung up on me. They have ignored emails. They have returned letters unopened. They are nasty and hateful. And Tom said the same thing, basically, that they told him off. And in Idaho, sheriffs are sovereign within their county. No one can act against them. No one can do anything to them. They are sovereign in their county, except for the
Yeah.
county coroner if they have evidence in lockup.
Well, why don't you call them up and I know that they hang up on you, whatever, but you have a better chance than someone like us or yeah, Michelle Nicholas said go to the news stations and maybe put pressure on them. But if they do have bone fragments, is it just one little tiny fragment or are there multiple fragments that they have?
I don't know. Tom didn't tell me. And he didn't, he was basically like, just wait. And I was like, how much do you have? How much do you need? How much did you get? Just wait. Just wait for the technology to catch up. Just wait. Just wait. He just kept
Yeah.
blowing me off. Just wait.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it probably will because it's dramatically better today in 2001 than it was in 2017. It's like way more advanced. I don't even know what the hell they're doing, but I know that the FBI has some crazy techniques that they're doing. Obviously, it's just wild. You give them some tiny little thing, and they're able to extract DNA from it. But if they have multiple samples, it'd be worth a shot. To like I was saying, I think there's a lab called like Astria, where they take the bone and they sort of slowly rock it back and forth with these little stones until it becomes kind of a powder, and then they put it in liquid, and then they extract DNA. Might be tough, though. That's the thing is, I know what he's talking about because they just have little bone fragments. It gets really, it's going to be really tough finding something, especially if it was just buried right in the ground there. Do you think I know this is crazy, but when these pigs, do they? I mean, how does the bone exist? Does that come from when they actually, go to the bathroom? I guess, like it's in stool samples or what? Hello.
yeah, I'm sorry. Can you say that last part of it again? I had
Yeah.
that little kind of crackly feedback again.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering, are the bones? Does it come from stool samples?
I'm betting that it probably does.
So pigs will just eat bone and everything, just grind it.
They absolutely will. In fact, the only things that they have been shown to not be able to digest is teeth and hair.
I see. And probably because it's really hard to crunch. Yeah, I mean, it's just not going to digest. Bones kind of don't really digest either. They just crunch it up, and then it comes out in their
Oh,
stool as sort of just bone. I would imagine, a little crunched up bone. I
well,
would think.
here's something interesting for you to know. It Humans can also eat bones. In fact, they would eat bones. Mike and Dorothy and Raymond and all of them, they would all eat bones. And they would actually like there's one person who contacted me and said, Ramon was so weird. He would come over to our house for Christmas and we would have ribs and he would sit in there eating the bones from all of the ribs while we were in watching the game.
Well, I mean,
And it does digest.
I know I sound kind of crazy, but like when I eat chicken wings, man, there is nothing left on those. I usually eat it right to the end where there's just like it's almost like an anatomical skeleton. I don't leave anything. I mean, it's just so. I mean, I know that you can crunch on a bone. I think if it was chicken, maybe at the end of a chicken bone, you could sort of eat a little bit. I don't sit there and chew on the actual hard part of a bone.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, he, they would eat the bones. Like a dog will actually chew up and eat the bones and crunch them and chew them. And yes,
Yeah,
humans can, and they did.
Wow. Sounds like it was just like right out of a horror movie where you were living.
Well, they are very incredibly just, the thing is, it's absolutely generational with them from one generation to the next generation to the next generation. And in particular, the women. So every time that Mike raped me, Dorothy would punish me for, and I'm giving you a direct, exact quote, seducing her husband.
Oh yeah, it's your fault. I knew it was going to be that. That was going to be your fault. That's why you're being punished.
Yes, I'm bleeding from every orifice from having been raped because I seduced your husband. That, yes, that is completely sane.
Yeah, Jesus. How did the guy die, anyways? Mike.
He had a heart attack in his house.
Yeah, what did he suffer at all, or did he just kind of pass out? You kind of hope somebody like that suffered a little bit. Yeah.
I just, I wanted them to go to jail, and I wanted my
Punish.
mother's case to be officially solved.
Yeah. Well, maybe let's just if you can get some more information on what they have in terms of bones, and then send it to me, and then I'll yeah next time Colleen's on, we can bring it up.
I will try to find somebody who will talk to me if I can.
Okay.
That Tom was the one who would talk to me, Tom Nesbitt, the investigating officer, and he left the force. He
Okay.
retired.
All right. Well, just
So
let
I
them know.
will find out what I can.
Okay. Man, that's just a nightmare. But I appreciate you calling in and sharing your story. Does anybody have any questions out there? Maybe there's somebody that had a question. Any questions? I want to see if anybody. Oh, someone said to get a lawyer or something like that. I mean,
I
I guess.
tried to get a lawyer, and because I'm in New Hampshire, I live in New Hampshire, all of them say, well, we think you have a case, but we can't take it. And they'd pass me off to the next and to the next and to the next. And I finally gave up.
Yeah, somebody had a good idea. What about writing a book and get all your brothers and sisters involved? And that would be a measure of justice because their names would be out there. I wouldn't try to fake names or anything like that. Let a civil suit come forward, and then if a trial happened, that information would come out. But if you guys wrote a book together, that would get the information out and it would sort of tarnish. That would be a punishment because he can't be punished physically now, Mike. But it'd be great to have the information out about him forever in a book.
I have written a book about my, what happened to me. Unfortunately, I don't have any connection with or even a way to get a hold of the other foster kids. And just to be blunt, I really don't want to.
Oh,
Michelle still lives with Dorothy,
oh.
and I just don't want anything to do with any of that.
Was Michelle a foster child?
She was one of the foster girls,
Why does
foster
that still living there?
sisters.
Why is she still living there?
She was sent back because my grandparents couldn't handle her. And they knew that they were abusive, but they didn't know to the degree.
No,
In
is she
fact,
a bio sister of yours? Is Dorothy a biological sister of you?
I believe that Dorothy is my mother's either biological sister or biological aunt.
Oh, so she was a lot older than you, maybe at the time.
Yeah, Dorothy was, I mean, she was in her 40s and I was
Oh, okay.
6.
I didn't mean Dorothy. Who's the sister that?
Oh, Michelle.
Okay, Michelle. How old?
Yeah.
Who
Oh,
is she?
Michelle is 2 years older than me.
And she's a biological sister of you, right?
No, she's not. No, I only have one half brother
Okay, then why would your grandparents try to adopt her?
because they wanted to keep all of us together. We had lived together for 4 years,
Oh, I
and
see.
so they tried to keep us together and they couldn't handle it.
I see.
They couldn't even handle my brother and myself. definitely couldn't handle 4 of us. They tried to take Rocky, one of the foster brothers, Michelle, my foster sister, and myself and my half brother, and it just didn't work. Uh, all of us had severe behavioral problems, probably because we had, we had suffered so much.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is, if there's any other boys, they were lucky they didn't become serial killers too. I mean, you got
Yes,
those parents. That one child, you guys were all kind of fortunate that it didn't turn into, or at least as bad as that guy. I mean, you sound like you totally got adjusted, but there might have been other siblings that didn't have very good lives, but maybe just that one turned into the serial killer. Uh,
yes, that's correct.
yeah.
As to my knowledge, only the one turned into a serial killer, and he always seemed to be kind of just happy with it. Like I said, the whole thing with him laughing about, what if you killed a kid's mother and fed her to them? He thought that was just hilarious.
Jesus.
The others didn't.
Yeah.
So, the whole nature versus nurture thing, I honestly believe that it's both.
Yeah, yeah, because I think it's like some people are just kind of born that way, and it doesn't even take being treated a certain way. But in your case, I think this guy was born that way, and it was just he was just enthralled to have parents that allowed him to be that way, right? Because you guys all lived under the same circumstances, and it didn't turn you into that. But man, he loved it. You see, so there must have been some of that part was him being born that way. That
Yes,
yeah, the nature. Hmm.
I 100% believe that. He also, I mean, that the whole Ramon Rogers thing, he has so many things. People have contacted me. A woman contacted me on Reddit and said he raped me while I was in the Navy, and he and a couple of his friends actually kept me in a room for a period of time. And she went out and testified during his trial for the murders that he committed that were the go on his serial killer dossier.
Hmm.
And other people have contacted me and said, yes, he used to have this book with Polaroids of naked girls in it. And he would show them to me and say, these are my girlfriends. These are my girlfriends. Look at these. Aren't these women beautiful? So he also told one girl, a different one, while they were drunk one night after he got out of the Navy, that when he was stationed in Guam, he and his Navy friends would rape and murder and eat women. And you
God,
could get away with it so easily over there because it was a third world, in his word, shithole.
God. Did they have any missing people over there during that
I
time?
don't know.
I mean,
I,
yeah, yeah, he just sounds like a monster, really. But
yeah, I mean, just the fact that he would tell that story and think it was funny and cool.
yeah, like most people don't sit around. Hey, guess what I did today, boy? Yeah,
Exactly.
people and we ate them. You know, nobody does that unless you're psycho. So, anyways, hey, listen, I appreciate you telling the story and get see if you can get more information on the what fragments, the size and what we're actually talking about, and then we can because I have regular contact with Colleen Fitzpatrick. You should look her up.
All
Colleen
right.
Fitzpatrick. She's like she's a literal rocket scientist at one point. You know, when people say, "Oh, you're not a rocket scientist," she goes, "Oh, well, I was." So that's about her. She's really she's funny, smart as hell, remembers everything she's ever done, and she's the founder of genetic genealogy for forensic genetic genealogy. She started doing that, I think, in 2000 and I can't remember, it was 12 or 7, but it was like the Canal murders. So she's she would know exactly what's capable with what you got, because I think that's the answer right there. You have to get that identified, or they're just not going to be able to. Uh,
Yep.
they
I
could
think
take a
that's true.
they'll make a circumstantial case. They could try that. I mean, I always thought that. I mean, he's dead though too, Mike, but the mom's still alive. But it'd
Mike
be
is
great.
dead. Yes.
Yeah, so it'd be great if they could at least identify that fragment as being your mom's. Then you know the answer. That means your entire story that they're probably not quite sure. You know, can we believe this or not? But I think they kind of do because they wouldn't have spent all that time digging in the pig pen if they didn't believe what you said.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right. Well, I appreciate you calling in. I wasn't too mean or anything.
No, no, not at all. Thank you for listening, and I will do the best I can to get that information and get it to you.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Well, thank you for calling in, and I'm really sorry I had to go through all that. What a horrible story, but you've turned out to be a well-spoken, normal person. There you go. You kicked ass.
Thank you.
Good job. All right. Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Bye bye. Yeah. All right. So if you guys would like to help support the channel, uh, spending all the hours we do on here, we got at the end of each month, we send, let's see, what are we at? Now, we just had donation night. That donation night this month was great, but it was a really crazy night. But thank you very much, Sandy, for calling in and telling me your story. Man, I think that's got to be one of the wildest ones we've ever had. Wouldn't you think? Everybody? I think that was absolutely nuts. So if you want to call in and tell your story, it doesn't have to be that elaborate or that crazy. It's just really about, maybe there was one time somebody picked you up and they were going to do something and you got away from it. Anything. Okay. So you can call in. I'm going to go use the facilities really quick, but I'd appreciate any support that you can give the channel. Thanks. All right. I know it was kind of quiet there, but forgot to turn the music on. Oh, and thank you to Carolina Girl and Allie Cake and Rita Schaefer and Lee D up there. Thank you guys very much. I know this isn't Delphi night, so it's not, I don't know what the deal is, but when we're not doing Delphi, it's not the same. Where's Sandy in the chat now? Yeah, it's just a crazy. That's a crazy story, Sandy. Man, that needs to be. You could almost make like an IDTV episode. Wouldn't that be nuts? So anybody else has their own crime story? Click on the link above. If not, we'll just kind of make this a shorter show. I don't have any other stuff to talk about. I was just doing a show. On it's for you to call in and tell your story. My brain, I'm kind of a little bit foggy. I think my shot's making me feel a little bit not feel that great right at this moment. Oh yeah, is it? Yeah, it kind of seemed like it was similar. I was trying to figure out because I was looking at this map right here, right? Right? And then look at right here. This is where I was looking at that earlier, Susanna. This case right here. This is that intersection, and it's the same story. So here, Sandy. This is kind of strange. A strange thing. I was actually going to bring this up earlier. Right here, just a couple weeks ago, there was this young girl, much different than the age you were at the time, who was in a house very similarly, a foster family with just a nightmarish situation where two kids were leaving, and she was found in the trunk of a vehicle on the property, and the lady there murdered her. And then look at that's only, it's just down the road. I wouldn't even if that's 5 miles, I'll be shocked. It's right there. Yeah, 2.39 miles away. What are the odds of that? Yeah, it's a freaking nightmare over there. Hey, all right, Amber Maiden. Appreciate it. I guess nobody has stories anymore. Everybody's so gun ho. Hey, yeah, I'll call in. And then as soon as you do the show, nobody has a story. Yeah, it's at the top. The pinned comment. You just call it. You know what I could do is I could take that and put it in the description too. Maybe that would make it easier. Hold on. Okay. So it's also in the description of the video. Why is it hard to follow, SIB? Is that because your brain doesn't work very well? It seemed like it was pretty clear. It's very easy to follow. You just had to pay attention. I know it's hard for people with ADD, but it was very simple. Let's see. Yeah, it's at the top of the chat up there. Thank you, Ria Mazzarone. Oh, look at that. She's got lizard eyes. That's a compliment, though. That's a compliment. You know me, right? Well, what do you mean it's hard to follow? What does that even mean, though? Oh, it's hard to. Okay, come on. You gotta type a full sentence, man. That could have meant anything. Hey, thank you, Stacy. Here, let me turn that on just for that. See if I can catch it. Come on. Is it gonna work? Oh, sorry about that, SIB, but your comment, that's what it sounded like. It's a hard act to follow. That makes more sense. Yeah. I thought she told the story well, so it sounded like you were being disrespectful. But you weren't, so sorry about that. So Stacy said, "Thank you so much for everything you do, Gray. You do so much for victims and their families. You're the best. Thank you for being here to give victims a voice and a platform. I love being part of this wonderful family. I love you and love all the wonderful freaks. Well, we all love you too." Yeah, it is like it's like a family in here, everybody. I know, I know. People go, "Oh, you guys are like a cult." Well, that's not really a cult. There's no cult in here. We don't have belief systems and anything. People actually say that in the comments. It's just like, what are you talking about? What does that even mean? I think I need to shave or something. And I need to get out in the sun a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, there's no mind control. Let me check. Did somebody? Oh, there it is. Yeah, so it's just everybody has their own stories. You could follow it up with, "Hey, this one time I was hitchhiking, and I think this person did this, and oh man, I got out of it, but I always thought that they were a certain type of." It doesn't have to be a long story. That was probably one of the longest, more interesting stories we've ever had on the call-in shows about your personal crime experience. Yeah, that was very kind, Stacy. Thank you very much. Yeah, you wanted to mow today. What does it have to do with anything, Fifi? Just Billy Payne. All right, Billy Payne. If you live long enough, everyone will have a story. Yeah, I was talking to the same guy at my source from last night's show, and he, you know, every time I talk to him, I feel like he's completely legit. He says, "Hey, this is what I was told. This is what it was." Oh, and by the way, the camera apparently that filmed Derek walking around was the same. It was at the trailhead, whatever that means. Like, so the trailhead, is that Freedom Bridge, or is it uh, Weaver's house? I think his name is right there. So that's where that would be the perfect spot. Just to throw this out there for more detail from last night. While we wait. Oh wait, there's somebody. Somebody called in. So hold on. Let me just do this really fast, just since I'm thinking about it. Yeah. So at the trailhead, right here, this house. Let me switch it to. Yeah. So I guess maybe a camera here could film Derek as he pulled in, and then maybe a bike going by, something like that. And then they must have some other way to know about this. I think they see this car pulling away on that camera. All right. Anyways, let me get back to. Okay. Haley,
Hi.
what's going on?
Well, I was just like kind of reading the comments, and people were saying that they kind of just wanted like a palate cleanser or like a happier, lighter-hearted like true crime story.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd just call in and tell mine. My so back when I was like 18 or 19, it was like my first apartment. I ended up meeting this girl that lived right next door to me, and we became like really close friends. And my mom came over to my apartment one time, and we started talking. And my mom asked this girl, what her last name was, and my mom goes and like, she tells her what her last name is, and she's like, "Are you related to Karen?" And my friend just looks at her and she's like, "That's my mom." And mind you, my friend had never told me her story about her mom, but her mom was actually killed by a serial killer in El Paso, Texas. And so my mom was best friends with her in high school. So
Oh,
just by coincidence, we became friends. So
crazy.
it is really crazy, but like I this is kind of just like the lightheartedness is that my mom hadn't seen this little girl in like so long. Her mom I think was killed back in the late 80s. I want to say it was the late 80s.
Who was this
And
killer? Who was the killer?
um I think his name is Leonard David Wood or David Leonard Wood. He's actually on death row in Texas.
I thought you were going to say David Lee or Henry Lee Lucas.
Oh, no, but look, El Paso has like, I mean, some crazy people that come out of there. So
What
Richard
was his name?
Ramirez,
David Leonard Wood. You said?
yeah, David Leonard Wood. I do believe that, or it might be, something like that. It's similar.
Yeah, yeah. 6 to 9 kidnappings and rapes.
Mhm.
Or number of victims. He doesn't say well, it does say serial killer. So
Yeah. So
what was her name? The mom's name?
the mom's name is Karen Baker.
There it is. She's only 20 years old. How old was
Yep.
she at the time when your friend? How old was your friend
Uh,
at the time?
I
Like two or something? Like
Like
really?
2 or 3. Yeah, she was really young. She said that she barely remembers her mom.
Oh, it's funny.
And
Your mom was friends with her, right?
yeah, they were best friends.
So she probably
Same with
even held her when she was when went over to visit. Hey,
mhm.
your kid, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I do believe that my mom said that she had. I mean, my mom and her both, dropped out of high school and got their GEDs. But from what I understand, like she had her first child because she was in high school, and that's why she dropped out. And they still remained friends. They still went out and hung out and everything. And my mom remembers like the investigation, and it was really awesome just because my friend doesn't really remember her mom, and she ended up in foster care. She
mm.
didn't have connections to her biological family,
Oh, cool.
and
So
my mom.
your mom could fill her all in with everything.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what, happened. And it still happens, like sometimes her and her siblings will be talking to each other and, they're like, well, somebody reached out to me and said this, and that, because there's rumors that this guy isn't even the one who's responsible for these deaths. And so I'll go call, like, she'll call me and say, hey, so this is what somebody's saying from back in the day. Can you call your mom and ask your mom about it? And my mom's been able to clear up a lot of rumors for her. So, because there was rumors that her mom was involved with drugs and prostitution, and my mom was like, no. She might have, smoked a little dope here and there, but that was it. Like,
Hmm.
so yeah, it was. I mean, but I don't know. I just felt like it was a
Yeah, you did.
lot.
Yeah, you did make that a. It's hard to make a serial killing into a happy story, but somehow it did have a positive vibe at the end. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, it's just I always like that's something her and I've really had like a deep connection over because she's like felt like it's an extension of family,
Yeah.
even though she doesn't remember my mom, she doesn't remember her mom. Like she was so young, but she still feels like she's been able to reconnect with her mom because of that. So, I mean, it's pretty cool, and it's the world kind of works in mysterious ways, I think.
Well, I think it's pretty amazing. That's just a crazy story. It must be an unusual. Well, why would it's weird because Baker isn't that uncommon. So what would make your mom even say? Was your mom Karen, or it's just?
Well, I'm not really quite sure what it was. Maybe my mom just remembered, that Karen had a daughter named Patricia.
Well, how about this? How old was Patricia then? I guess.
At the time, so now she's in her early 30s.
No, when your mom asked her.
Oh, so when my mom met her, it was, well, I guess met her as an adult. I want to say
20.
Yeah, she was in her early 20s.
Well, I bet you anything she kind of looked similar. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, she does.
Similar. And then she said, wait, is your mom Karen? And then that's where I was getting at. That's why I wanted to know the age. Somebody else.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get at. But so she wanted to if she was right around the same age, she probably looked very similar to her mom. And then she said, wait, is your mom Karen? And that's probably how that happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think.
What a great thing.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool, and like I said, her and I've been able to. We're still best friends to this day. I live in Florida, and she's still in Texas, but we're still really close, and it's just, I don't know. I just felt like it was like that palate cleanse, I guess you could say, for other people. So, just a little bit of happiness.
Well, thanks. You brightened it up.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
No problem. So
that was a good story. That was a good one. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Haley, all right. Thank you very much.
No problem. Bye.
Bye. That's pretty crazy, right? Yeah, he's called the Desert Killer. Man, he killed 6 to 9 people in just a few months. Like he was just getting going. All right, so Corey, you're on.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
How's it going? It's Corey in Massachusetts again. My story is not nearly as lighthearted as that one.
Okay.
All right, so my elementary school teacher, I grew up in a town on the East Coast. It was Fairhaven, Massachusetts. And my 3rd grade elementary school teacher, what was her name? Was it Miss English, I think? I believe she was in her 50s or 60s, and she lived by herself.
What year was it?
Oh, maybe sometime around maybe 2020. No, 2017, 2018. It could have been earlier than that.
Oh, so you're pretty young yourself.
Yeah, I think I'm 33.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, come on.
Anyway. It's somewhere around there.
Well, that's a good way to sort of adjust an age if you wanted to be younger or older. Yeah.
I forget sometimes. But anyway, so police had done a wellness check on her house because her friends hadn't heard from her. And when they went in, they found her on the floor and they thought she was passed out. And they didn't realize at the time, but when they called paramedics and they went to try to resuscitate her to wake her up, they went to move her and her head almost fell off. Someone had slit her throat with a box cutter so deep that it was real deep. Right. So
what's her name? Can you tell me her name again?
I believe it was Miss English.
But you don't know her first name then?
No. I'm trying. If you just Google Fairhaven, Massachusetts, school teacher murdered or elementary school teacher murdered, like it should be the only thing that comes up. I'm trying to think of other. They solved it. I think the guy might have already gone to trial and everything.
Just tell the story. I guess I don't need to. It's not if it's solved. All right, go ahead. So that she was found in there, and her head almost fell off. Sounds like a little bit like Travis Alexander in the Jodi Arias case, where it was cut all the way through. Are you still there? Oh. Oh, I guess somehow he got cut off, or he disappeared. Call back in, Corey. We'll add you right back in. You got to finish your story. Just click on that link. I think he got disconnected. Have sharing that story because if one of the new positive things. I couldn't tell what city. Oh, there he is right there. Okay, you're back in there. You're there. Hey, Corey, are you there? I can hear you moving around. I'm not sure what's going on with Corey. You there? Hey, Corey, you were in there and I could hear you. You just weren't talking. Oh, so she was probably a retired teacher. Yeah, I bet you this one's it. Oops. This one? Maybe this one makes sense. 36-year-old man ordered held without bail Wednesday for the brutal slaying of 69-year-old school teacher at her Fairhaven home. Joshua Silva of 26 Oak Street in New Bedford is charged with murder and armed robbery in October 14th death of Joyce N. Howland. Well, that says Joyce N. Howland, so I don't know if that's the same one. Anyways, look, how could there? Wow, you have more than one. Are you there, Corey?
Yeah, can you hear me? Sorry, I got a phone call.
So are there other teachers killed in there? Because we have
No.
a Joyce N. Howland. Is that a different person? Or?
No, that's the one. I had the name wrong.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, wow, man, they've got in that little town, they're getting teachers butchered left and right.
Poor Miss English. She was one of my middle school teachers. She was not murdered, actually. That's a different lady.
Okay, sorry, Miss English. You're just fine.
So, all right. So as the story goes, so they discovered that she was in pretty bad shape. She had her throat slit, and when they started investigating, the restaurant that I worked in at the time, I don't know if I should name drop it, but I guess it doesn't matter. It has pasta in the name, and it's probably the most expensive Italian restaurant in the town. And while I was working there one night, the police were in the parking lot, and they were scouring the parking lot. And I hadn't known at the time, but apparently it came out later that they had found somebody had walked through that parking lot, and whoever it was had her prescription bottles that they had stolen from her house, and they were peeling off the labels and discarding them on the ground. So they were finding her pill bottle labels with her name on them on the ground of this woman who had just been murdered. And so they kind of figured out a route that the killer had taken, where it seemed like they had walked from her house through that restaurant parking lot, and they realized that she had gone through a subcontractor, I believe, or she had gone through a local company to insulate her attic, and they subcontracted the work out to somebody else, and those people had left her house for the day, but one of the guys showed back up in the middle of the night and claimed that he had left his tools there. So she let him in, and I guess she came upon him in her house, going through, like, in her bedroom, going through her drawers, trying to steal money or drugs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And when she discovered it, she must have told him, "Get out of my house," and that's when he killed her and stole her pills and whatever money he could, and then walked back to the parking lot of the company he worked for while pulling off the labels of the pill bottles. And I guess, I'm not sure exactly how they did the detective work, but they figured it out pretty fast. I know that restaurant that I worked at did have security cameras all around the building, so I'm not sure if that helped them, but that was pretty sad when that happened. I know I went to her funeral. There was only a few students there, but that was just a brutal story. And you would never think something like that to happen to her. She's just a nice lady, just a school teacher. I guess you'd said she was retired.
Trying to figure out, like, I mean, why did he do that to her, though? I mean, it just seems like overkill, really. It's bizarre.
So New Bedford used to be the #1 whaling city in the United States back when whaling was legal. It's a big fishing port for the United States still today. There's a lot of fishermen in that area because there's a lot of fishermen. There's a lot of drugs in that area. And so, I don't know, this is just the way my brain works, but, you know, you get people addicted to pills, and those kinds of people are willing to do anything, say anything, lie, steal, cheat, kill to get more money so that they can get their fix for whatever pills or, you know, and this guy didn't want to get caught. Maybe he had done something in the past. Maybe he had stolen in the past and didn't want to go back to jail, didn't want to get, you know, didn't want to have to go back to court and spend more time in jail for stealing again. And out of frustration and anger and trying to cover up his actions. This, you know, it's just speculation, but I can totally see that as being something that would happen in that area.
What did he get? What was his sentence?
I have no idea. You probably get it in that article you pulled up.
Well, I found another one. It said Silva found guilty of murder of Joyce Howland, sentenced to life without parole. So there you go.
There it is. He got what he deserved, I guess.
Yeah, they don't really have death penalty over there in Massachusetts.
No, they're a little progressive over here.
Yeah, they probably give him a bail here pretty soon. You know, they'll let him out if he's. I don't know if you remember that one case that we covered that one time where the guy murdered this little girl, and then, you know, he was so cool. They let him out on sort of furloughs, and he could go shopping and so forth. And then he escaped, and then they finally caught him. Or wait, I think they're still looking for him, actually. Yeah, they're still trying to find him. This is way back in, like, late 70s or 80s. But they let him out just so he could, because they thought he was cool. And not even chaperone. Like, he could go to a mall and walk around, do some shopping. It's just unreal. And that's how he escaped.
And then they wonder why little girls are going missing in the area again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's just it's just such idiotic stuff going on out there. This was a long time ago, of course. I think it was even in Ohio, which is kind of odd because that's a little bit more conservative, I guess. But
yeah, I don't know. I think we talked before. I'm a eye for an eye type of person. I don't think we should be lenient with those types of people. I mean, I get it if it's like, if they're adolescent or something, you know, not 18, maybe there's a chance to rehabilitate. But like, once you realize someone has like a depraved mind, it's, in my mind, like, the chances that they're going to do something again, why even risk it? No,
come on, man. You if you give them a Bible and they read it, they just change. That's what they always say. They always go, "Well, I've now discovered God." No, that didn't have anything to do with it. Look at, you're just trying to get out. You're trying to get sympathy. People who chop people up and you're a serial killer. There is no amount of Bible reading that's going to be changing you. Okay, because
They
that's
just try
who
to
you
say the
are.
right things.
Right.
They're just
Yeah.
trying to say the right things to check the right boxes so they can get back out and do whatever it is that their heart and brain desires, whether that be to kill again or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
No Delphi tonight? Come on.
Nah, probably not. I gotta take a break. Tomorrow I'm gonna do some other cold cases again. I gotta get back to my normal stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I just had that one little story. It wasn't as lighthearted as the one before, but I tried.
Well, it was good. No, I think that's what we're looking for. I appreciate it. All
All
right,
right.
man. Thanks, Corey. Have a good
Good
one.
night.
Bye. Yeah. Yeah, don't worry. We'll get back to Delphi one of these days. Okay, probably next week or sometime during the week. Yeah, it's hard to say. But what I don't understand is having a show on YouTube where you take a lunatic and you have him bash his son and his dad for hours and not expect there to be legal ramifications for that. It's absolutely insane. It doesn't matter if you go allegedly or any of that stuff. You cannot do that. You can't do that shit. It doesn't work unless there's actual police investigations, things like that going on. Does that work? Yeah, there you go, Susanna. Oh, it blocks my face though, right? I guess it doesn't work too good. Do I have to make that bigger, like way up there? That looks weird. We'll figure it out one of these days. Or maybe you have to be on a different. Is it this one or that one? No. Not sure. Last known? Okay. Oh, no. I wanted just new callers tonight. I was looking for new callers, not the same callers. Yeah. You got the flannel shirt guy. All these different people get accused over and over again. All right. Here we go. Hello. Hello. Susanna. You're not a new caller unless you're a different Susanna. I can't hear you, Susanna. All right. I'm going to have to get you out of here. Yeah, don't listen. If you have stories, do not type them in the chat because this is the night where you call in and tell your story. All you're doing is taking away from other people's stories. Okay. Now, if you want to tell your story, call in and tell your story because that's what we're doing tonight. It's almost kind of weird. Oh man, I got this one when I was 5, and then everybody starts chatting around about that. But tonight, that's not a story that you're telling as sort of like cathartic to yourself. Okay, this is a story you're telling a story because you don't want to call in and tell the same story. But the point of this whole show is for you to call in to tell your true crime story, and I've already. What do you mean unmute? Unmute what? I'm talking right now. I'm talking about the chat here. People are typing in their stories in the chat, and you got to call in to tell it. Ah, Jesus. Darlene's always interrupting the show for me to go check my emails every time. Let's see. I got this one. Where's that one? Yeah, I saw that earlier, Darlene. I was just kind of going through some stuff. Let's see. Thanks, Darlene. I know you're trying to help. Just type it in again in the chat. Okay, I already saw that. No, I'm not going to. So now I'm going to do what I was going to be doing, and it's Audra's and Cuckoo Cabana's birthday. I saw you guys typing up there about it earlier. So, Mary Lou, if you could do it, that'd be great.
Okay, gee. Happy birthday to Audra and Cuckoo Cabanas. Happy birthday to Audra and Cuckoo Cabanas. Happy birthday to Audra and Cuckoo Cabanas. Happy birthday to you.
And many more.
There you go. Cuckoo Cabana. Cuckoo Bananas. Cuckoo Cabanas, whatever the hell it is. It's too hard to say. Cuckoo Bananas? Who the hell says that? All right, anyways. Happy birthday. It's not even a real name anyway. So, happy birthday, Cuckoo Bananas and Audra. Oh. What do you mean you were listening to the lady's story? Oh, do I have it set where you can it's rewind mode? Oh boy, that's terrible. Oh man, that's terrible. Yeah. All right, Derek.
Hey, what's going on, Greg? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Hey, I usually call in on the Delphi nights, but I've been making an effort to watch the other shows. And actually,
It's weird how it's so difficult for people to watch something other than the Delphi case.
well, the thing is, it's like it's addicting once you listen to the other shows too, and it's like I don't know how you keep track of everything. That's why when you say, I can't remember all of it, there's no way you could remember all of it because it's crazy the amount of stuff that you go through. I was listening to a few, and I was listening to the interview you did kind of with that guy off the cuff when his wife and newborn were murdered. The black guy, and he was
Yeah.
That was a crazy interview.
Yeah, that one's wild, isn't it?
I mean, you got something that the cops have probably been trying to get for years. I don't think he has anything to do with it, but
yeah, but they probably wouldn't mind listening to it.
Right, exactly.
I'm sure they might. I mean, they're going to know about it. He even wanted me to have.
He said it many times.
Yeah.
Geez, I don't even know how you composed yourself through that whole thing, but that was good. But I'm calling it. I don't know if this really counts, but I figured I'd call in and say it anyways. I was there on the day of the Boston Marathon bombings.
Oh wow!
As a first responder, we were posted when it happened. I didn't know if that kind of counted, but I figured I'd call in anyways.
That definitely counts. Yeah, go ahead. So what were you right there on the scene?
Yeah, I was right there. We were posted. We had like 3 or 4 different of our trucks posted there. And when it happened, we were probably, I'd say, 500 feet from where the actual bombs went off. And then after that, everything was kind of just chaos. It's, and to the people who say that really never happened, well, it definitely happened.
People say that, oh yeah, that's right. The idiots that say it was all crisis actors, right?
Yeah, that's complete BS.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Sandy Hook, all that shit. People are just idiots. You just got to realize it's what's scary is there's a lot of really stupid people, and way more than you ever thought that there was. And you can learn that just by social media. and you
Right.
can, and you hope that doesn't, it's just sort of representative only social media, and that it doesn't continue throughout the entire population.
Yeah, it's scary. It really is scary that how some people think these days.
So what were you at the one that was the more publicized bomb, the explosion at the beginning, or were you closer to the other one?
I was closer to where they came across at the end, where all the rails were and everything. And I just remember, I mean, I still get nightmares from this, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, me and my partner was actually in the Twin Towers, the second tower, when it was hit. So it's kind of crazy. Me and him were both there. We've been partners for 10 years, and yeah, it was really chaotic. It was, you know, we kind of just responded and kind of got as many people in the ambulance as we could, and you know, we went to each hospital. We kept going back, and it was crazy.
Were you ever, there was that one guy I always remember seeing those where he kind of like both of his legs were.
Yeah, I saw him. We didn't. We weren't the ones who actually transported him. But yeah, we transported. I'd have to say 25 people during that time. A few of them didn't make it. And the hospitals were just getting so. It was just kind of a, you know, everybody was caught off guard, obviously. And but I would like to say, you know, I think everybody, you know, responded as well as they could have, and the hospitals were great, and we got everybody where we could, and we were doing all kinds of interventions that we never thought we would do. But
yeah, that was an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
So what is it like when you're, you know, you hear it with police officers a lot, but even is it the same with paramedics? Like it's just a total bond. You guys are like a team. Your families know each other. And
yeah, absolutely. I would say more with the EMS than police officers, because you don't always have you know, a partner with police officers. But when you're, you know, medics, you're always partnered up, whether EMTs or whatnot. But yeah, I've, you know my partner for 10 years, and you know, I consider him my brother. So
yeah, and he's been involved around during 2 horrendous terrorist attacks. Crazy.
Yeah, and he was in the actual tower, and so it's a miracle he made it out. But,
what was he doing at the time? Was he working there? Or?
Oh yeah, he was New York Fire Department paramedic firefighter. And
oh wow, so he was one of the people going in to try to, and he must have just been lucky that he was below where the plane hit at the time, right?
Right. It was I know he broke his wrist. He had multiple other, you know, superficial injuries and whatnot. But I actually have his first in bag. He gave me his bag that he actually carried in the tower like 5 years ago. It's but yeah, he's retiring next year. So, and I retire in 5. So, thankfully.
Well, you sound pretty young. You must. Are you older? Are you older than you sound, or?
I'm 35.
Oh, but you get to retire that young, man. That's pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, I started young. Thankfully, so.
And you get an actual retirement, like you can.
Yeah, get a pension and whatnot. So.
At 40, that's crazy, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, 20 years. Well, they changed it. I believe it was changed it back in 2009 to 25 years, but I was in before when it was 20. So.
Well, what's cool is you could actually do other work that you want to do, and now you have 2 incomes.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to school and get my physician's assistant. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. It is. Man, so well, thank you for your service for sure.
Yeah, man, no problem. I usually call in on the Delphi shows, but I am listening to the other ones.
Yeah, well, the weird thing is that there's some other stories out there that are way more crazy, and they're at least as interesting as Delphi. Delphi, it's sort of, you know, it's interesting because you have, the only reason Delphi is so huge is because of the video and the audio. If you didn't have that, it would just be this sort of I mean, what's weird is think how there would be nothing without that.
Right.
You wouldn't have a clue, and it's a big story, but there's not a lot of information though. So some of these older cases that we cover from back in the day, man, those newspaper articles and whatnot, they have so much detail and information, and it's a huge puzzle that you can just put together and sort of make a reasonable guess on it.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm glad you're watching some of the old ones.
Yeah, you're breaking up. You sound like a robot right now. I don't know if it's me or if it's you.
Huh. That's interesting. Well, somebody else said that too on another call, and I hope it's not me.
But all right, Greg, I'll let somebody else call, and I figured I'd call and keep up the good work, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Bye. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, that was Derek. I guess he couldn't hear me near the end for some reason. Not sure what's going on there, but I wonder if it's using this board that I use. I think it's the only thing I can use though, because I'd like to have music and things like that show up on that are playing as well. I'm only going to be using StreamYards for call in because it's a little bit easier than Zoom, I think. Although when Susanna tried calling in, it didn't seem to work. I clicked on her and it was just dead silent. Not sure what was going on there. So is anybody else calling in or? Yeah, 9/11 I think is something that changed my life, really. It made me think differently about a lot of things. Yeah, it actually felt similar to the pandemic in some ways. Like, wow, this is such a wild thing that's happening that we're living through. Yeah, he seems like somebody that would have good bedside manner as a working at a hospital or as a paramedic. He probably made people feel good. You know, he comforted them probably sometimes in their last moments. I can tell he doesn't sound like one of the mean type of people or of any kind. What are you talking about? What case? What do you mean the last caller? The one that just called? He was talking about the Boston bombing. It was a marathon and I think it was they used pressure cookers. I can't remember the guy's name. There was a brother, him and a brother, I think, and the brother in a shootout. The brother was killed, and then he kind of escaped, and they caught him in a boat. I remember that he was hiding in somebody's yard in a boat that was covered with canvas, and they set up a pressure cooker bomb at the finish line of the Boston Marathon. Gosh, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago. Might even be longer than that now. Everything flies by. Maybe 10. And then he said that his partner was one of the responding firemen, EMS, that went into tower number 2. And that was the second, even though tower number 2 was the first one hit, it was the second one to collapse because it was hit at a different height and it was stabilized longer. Yeah, but COVID doesn't bother me anywhere near as much as 9/11 did. It's not even close. 9/11 was just this crazy as hell thing. People jumping out of buildings, people taking over an airplane, trying to, the Pennsylvania Flight 93, they took over they tried to take over the cockpit again at the end, and that plane just crashed, I think, in Shanksville. And then you had the one that hit the Pentagon. Yes, that was an airplane. It wasn't a guided missile by some, there's so many crazy people out there, everybody. I gotta be, to be honest with you, back then, I would sort of believe some of those conspiracies, like in 2001, if you watch the Loose Change film, you kind of go, ooh, wow, that's weird. But all you have to do is look up any debunking of those, and it's just real simple stuff. Like it's really some stuff is still strange that's out there, but it happened, right? It actually happened. And Sandy Hook happened. Okay, those kids were actually killed by Adam Lanza inside the school using like an AR-15 type gun. Okay, that literally happened. It's not fake. There wasn't crisis actors. It wasn't some, oh, well, look, there's the girl with the brown hair. People who think the, listen, here's what I've said multiple times. I'll do it again. If you believe Sandy Hook was fake, unsubscribe from my channel immediately, okay? Because you're an idiot and I don't want you around listening, okay? That's kind of where that's sort of my cutoff point right there. Like if you believe Sandy Hook is fake, you're a moron and I don't want you here. It's not an opinion. It's not it's nothing like that at all. Sandy Hook is a real thing. It's not an opinion that it happened, okay? Yeah, I can't stand it. I cannot stand it. People like that. And look at that. 10 people left right after I said that. Those are the 10 idiots. Yeah, that's right. If you believe Sandy Hook was fake, you're a moron and a cruel person. That's absolutely true. Yeah. Yeah, of course it was a plane. Yeah. A plane hit the Pentagon. Yep. How come the hole's only that well? Because it was a fortified building, you idiot. I see my... I don't know what that means, Kate. You have to type that in again. Doesn't make any sense. All right. Gray is all up in my peripheral vision, as big as he is on the screen, while trying to read chat. Yeah, look how big I am on there. Yeah, let me move over to the this other one. There you go. Now you can read the chat twice. No, there are really actually people that think that Sandy Hook's fake. Crisis actors and all. Well, sure, Rebecca. You can, you just send super chats, PayPal. PayPal takes the least amount of percentage, but also Streamlabs goes through PayPal and takes out less too than YouTube does. But yes, at the end of the month is when we put it all together and have one last push, and then donate to various charities. A large percentage of the YouTube income. And when I say large, I mean like 40 to 45%, maybe 50 sometimes. I mean, if the thing is if I made $20,000 in a month on YouTube, I'd probably donate at least 10. Okay, it's not like I'm going to keep, like, the percentage goes up because there's a certain point where it's like, yeah, I don't know what that means if you unsubscribe. What does that mean, Rebecca? No idea what you're talking about. No idea what you're talking about, Rebecca. Let's see. 13, 14-year-old. No, I've never heard of that one. I think Rebecca might be one of the idiots that believes that Sandy Hook is fake. Okay, and yes, I don't want you supporting the channel if you believe Sandy Hook is fake. Okay, so no, just don't bother sending anything in. Yeah, just don't bother. Just see you later, Rebecca. Go do your own thing. It's so moronic. I'm ashamed. You can call in about any true crime story that you have. Okay. Yeah, there's a link in the description. There's one at the top up there that you can click on. Yeah, why don't you go talk to the family members first, Rebecca, and then make your decision, okay? Try to get a hold of them and ask them questions. Good Lord. How embarrassing. Shit. Yeah, I'm happy to lose a paying channel member who believes Sandy Hook is fake. I do not care. Okay, I'm embarrassed that I had somebody as a channel member that believed Sandy Hook was fake. Yikes. All right. Yeah, it's not really a call-in. It's just a link to go to StreamYard. Yeah, I've covered the Canada Greyhound beheading about 50 times. Usually use it to show everybody how moronic the Canadian judicial system is, where you've got a guy that cuts off somebody's head, holds it up at the bus, and they arrest him, and then 5 years later he's back walking the streets, because, it was just mental. You know what I would do is I would let the judge who let that guy free, I would put him in the judge's home for the first year to see if he's okay or not, because he was so gung-ho about getting him out. You see. Where's Rebecca N? Hey, thanks, Juju Positive. I haven't seen Rebecca N in a while. Is she okay? Yeah, through college friend. He was always acting like he was super rich, and we'll show it early. Yeah, well, that's when you call in. See, I don't really understand. I don't want people typing in their stories in chat. This is different than you having personal problems and wanting to talk about them. It's okay if you need to do that in the chat because everybody's friends. But if tonight's a night where you call in about your true crime stories, and that's what it's for. It's not for typing it in the chat. Okay. No, I'll call people idiots if I want, Kate Lily. You didn't have to do any of your share anything. I'm going to call somebody an idiot if they believe Sandy Hook is fake. I'll say it 1,000 times. If you believe, Kate, that Sandy Hook is fake, you are an idiot too. Okay, that's just a fact. Okay, the truth is, if you believe Sandy Hook is fake, you are an idiot. You are an idiot, technically, like in the dictionary. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, nobody even knows what you're referring to, Kate, though. I'm talking about the Sandy Hook thing. You're not making any sense at all. It says, don't call anyone an idiot. I was joining your chat and predicted Tex made one mistake, and I'm not even talking to you. Nobody was talking to you, Kate. I was talking to somebody else. It was Rebecca. So you weren't even paying attention. Oh my God. I don't even know who you are. I've never even seen a comment you've ever made. Yikes. Wow. No, I wasn't talking to you, Kate. I don't even know who you are. So you'll have to. Never seen you before in my life. Never seen one of your comments before. You seem like you're just a troll now because I don't know who you are. Let's see. Right. Yeah, whatever. Let's see. No, I can't talk to you offline first. That doesn't have that option. Yeah, I'm sorry if it offends people that I think people who believe the Sandy Hook murders are fake. Okay, are idiots. I don't even know how people. I have no idea. I don't know who this Kate Lilly person is up here. Never responded to anything that she said that I can remember. Maybe there was a time earlier in the show. I don't know. I don't remember anything she said. I was talking about Sandy Hook, and then somebody else said that they were going to. Can I still help the causes, Gray, if I unsubscribe? And then I realized that they were actually one of those people, and it's embarrassing to have anybody supporting my channel who believes that Sandy Hook is fake. That's sort of what my cutoff point. Okay, I've said it before 1,000 times. And I hope everybody has that same feeling. I'm not a conspiratorial YouTube channel. Go watch Alex Jones. Yeah, I don't have a way for you to call first. Yeah. It's not one of those things, well, people just have different opinions, Gray. Some people. No. It's not one of those. It's not an opinion, it's a fact. That's the difference. Yeah. What topic? I don't know what you're referring to. Yeah, I don't want to talk about Chris Watts' case. We don't talk about Chris Watts here. Chris Watts' case is the most ridiculously over sensationalized case in the history of mankind. It's not even interesting. He was arrested and admitted to doing it within 3 days. It's ridiculous. We all feel bad for the kids and everything, but it's just turned into it's been turned into a fake sensational story with nothing interesting about it. Okay. It's mind-boggling that people are still talking about Chris Watts. It's scary, actually. Wow. No, you don't have to give anybody's name. You can just call in and say what you want to say, Teresa. Okay, now we've got a troll here. Now it's okay, R, you didn't know, but we even have little emojis on this particular channel that say no Chris Watts. You see this? I actually made this months and months ago. All right. It's not a call in for you to call in about a case. It's for you to tell your true crime story that you are connected to. Okay, something that you did or you saw, you witnessed, something like that. Man, it's hard to even ever have a show where it ends up being where it's peaceful all the way through, because there's always somebody that just. Yeah. People are still making videos on that one. And the reason they are is because they have these obsessed people who just, like drones, keep following the Watts case over and over again. It's almost like they're drunk with it. So they just keep covering it. They get 10,000 views per video on Chris Watts and 800 views on another case that nobody knows about. And that's the part that that's why they keep covering it, because it's for them, it's the gift that keeps on giving. They're not real true crime people. They cover it over and over again because they get views for it, and they really have no interest at all in covering something else. Well, they might have interest in covering something else, but they'll forego the interest in that to keep getting the views on their channel. That's the truth. I don't know how anybody somebody just found out about the Watts case. Man. Thanks, Angela Vincent. Yes, other cases. I always feel bad when I cover a case like not when I cover the Delphi case, but when I cover it and then I cover it again the next day or something. And I only did last night's show because that guy sent me the bullet points and I wanted to put those out. But I feel like I'm neglecting. I had already made a folder of these other cases from the 60s and 70s that are still cold. And, some might be related to each other in Pennsylvania. Now I'm starting to feel like the shots kicking in. Like I don't know. I'm kind of nervous to wake up. It's been almost 10 hours though, so that's good. Hey, thanks, LM. No, we got 362 viewers. Mystify, but yes, everybody hit that like button. All right, 3, 2, 1, hit the like button. Thank you, Sherlock Hemlock.
I'm tired of it, 10 down, 15 on the mind, but I'm buried on 15, I'm buried on 15, 20, I'm buried on 15, but I'm buried on 20, I'm fine, but I'm buried on 30, I'm 30, I'm 30, 25, but I'm buried on 30, go to 30, sir, 25, but you're out, I'm buried on 25, but I'm buried on 30, 30, now 5.
Bitch, please.
I know, that was just quick. I've already taken 2 Tylenols. They're already in there from like 35 minutes ago or something. Thanks, Susie Heath. I wonder if that's helping me. Like, I'm sort of nervous that if I hadn't taken those Tylenols, what would I feel like right now? Because I feel like my arm's sore. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. I guess you got to keep moving it around. You had 105 degree. Which one did you get? Moderna? Ariana? Yeah, good. Yeah, it's only like a 24-hour. 105 though. You got to be taking Tylenol, and that's dangerous at that level. Yeah, Moderna is not anywhere near as, I guess I don't know if the word handleable. I don't know what the term is, but as Pfizer is. But Moderna, apparently, when I asked my brother, the reason you have more side effects is because it has a little bit more overall coverage for sort of different variant. I don't know. It's really bizarre. I'd have to have him explain it again. But Pfizer is really effective against the tolerable. That's the word. Yeah. Thanks, Juju. Yeah. Okay. I was waiting for the person to join, but I don't see it over here. Yeah, well, I have Pfizer. Which one do you get? Moderna? That one usually has a little bit more side effects. But it doesn't, even if you don't have side effects, you're just as well protected as not having side effects. It doesn't mean that you're not protected. No, it isn't most likely that the second shot. 50% of people don't have any side effects at all. The other 50% have a wide-ranging number of side effects, and some are just mild flu-like symptoms all the way up to feeling, nauseous and things like that. And with Pfizer, it's less than that. and you're not getting sick with any. It's not COVID or anything like that. Okay, it has nothing to do with COVID. It's just your immune response, your body putting out, like when you feel sick when you get the flu, that you only feel sick because your body is putting out all these antibodies fighting the flu virus. It's not the virus itself making you feel that way, which is kind of weird how that works. But the I don't know. Oh, well, there might be a little bit of both. After your body kicks in, then the virus hits you, then you get sick from that too. But you don't get there's no COVID. You don't get the COVID virus. COVID-19 from the shots whatsoever. It has nothing to do with it. Zero chance. I've told the ones mine. There's just a couple incidents. Just when I was younger, it seemed like I was going to be abducted, or maybe somebody was going to molest me or something like that. There was an abduction. It felt like an attempt, and then a molesting. I don't know what would have happened, but I would just say that the driver, he knew where I lived, and he just kept going when I was the last kid in the car. And then he ended up turning around. Nothing happened, but I was always wondering, because I had my hand on the door. I was going to jump out. And then he just sort of intentionally drove by my home. And then when I would talk to him, he wouldn't look at me or say anything. It was really bizarre. Yeah. Well, the one that I was going to say was that from basketball camp, he was driving us all home after a day trip for some, and every other kid was dropped out. I was the last one left, and I said, "Yeah, I live right here," and he just kept driving. And I said, "Hey, you missed my house," and he wouldn't respond. And then I had my hand on the door, and then eventually he turned around and drove me back. But I always wondered what the hell that meant. And the other one was, I was just walking by my house, and then this car pulled up with two guys in it, and it seemed like my mind says there was like three people in there, and they go, "Get in the car!" And I just took off like a jet back home. But like, what were they gonna do? Well, I mean, if I had gotten in that car, well, it's wild. Anyways, I got one of the calls coming in here.
Hello?
Yep, Teresa, you're the one that was going to call in. Yep. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yep. So what's the story?
Okay. Once upon a time, I was a neighbor to a young couple.
Mm-hmm.
She had a little boy that was 2 years old. The boyfriend, was in the Olympics, and pretty sure he might have also had done steroids at one time. And he was also a diabetic. And can you hear me okay?
Yeah, just keep talking. You have these pauses going on. Just I don't really. People can't hear me when I'm talking for some reason. Like you, it doesn't sound good. I'm just letting you tell your story. I don't want to interrupt you.
Okay, no problem. Then I'll continue. When his girlfriend was gone one evening, apparently he went into a diabetic fit and killed the little boy. I heard weird noises, had to go down there to the apartment, and the person that I was with at the time interrupted the boyfriend. I took the little boy up to another location, and the little boy died.
Oh man.
Actually, as I was holding him,
And what was he doing to him? Before
he
that?
was in the apartment. He was tossing him around like he was a pillow.
Like just throwing him against the wall. You could hear this from outside. How did you guys get into the apartment?
We were the
Oh, you can't. Maybe you can't answer that one.
correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. So, anyways, you were able to get the kid out. You heard this noise, and you got in there, and then you got him out, and then he died.
Correct. We got him to a different location. The person I was with tried to perform CPR. He was unconscious. The paramedics came and they tried everything they could. They got him to the hospital. He didn't make it. The boyfriend was arrested right away. However, when it came to court, he pleaded out at the very last minute because he saw the pictures that was going to be shown in court.
So, did he plead guilty? Is that what you're saying?
He took a plea deal, I should say.
Yeah,
he was offered a plea deal rather than do the court.
Well, that means you're pleading guilty because you wouldn't be doing it. That's what the plea is.
Correct. Yeah. He probably, I guess, I don't exactly remember what. Maybe manslaughter. I don't know what he pleaded to. And pretty much it was time served is all that he got, because this was his first offense.
Well, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, why would he killed somebody?
He did, in a diabetic fit.
So the kid was in a diabetic fit. Oh, he was in a diabetic. Oh, that's ridiculous. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what he claimed. Or was
correct.
he? Really?
Yeah, he was. He was. He would have grand mal seizures, which me and the person that was with me at the time knew about. And because he was working on his muscle mass, he would, and I don't really quite understand all this, he would cut it really close for the calories and just eat chicken.
Mm.
And so shortly before that, we had found him in a grand mal seizure, like maybe, I don't know, short time before that.
Yeah.
The problem is he has moved away. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while, I do check in on his name, and there is domestic violence. There's also stalking that I can see, and I don't even know all of the charges. At the moment, he is in prison for something else, which is good. But he appears as a very nice guy, attractive, and in good shape. So it's just kind of scary.
Yeah.
So, or is this the kind of story you were talking
Well, yeah.
about?
Because you're involved. I mean, you're right there. But it sounds like if he really did have I mean, that might be an excuse that he's using, but you're saying that he really did have a diabetic fit at that moment. So then, if he did, then maybe that is sort of something he couldn't control what he was doing or something. That's what the courts decided, right?
So, in my opinion,
Are you still there? Oh, jeez. God, she's not there anymore. I don't know. She just left. I think the guy, if it's a true story, the guy was just totally, you use that as an excuse, right? I don't know what happened to her, but it got disconnected. Yeah, it could have been something like that. But she seemed to say that he really was having a diabetic fit. So that's like something that was proven. I'm not sure where she went. Guess she didn't want to keep telling the story or something. Anybody else? Anybody else just call in and tell your little things like I said. Those weird, the moments in your life where you feel like something really bad's going to happen. And you actually still believe that there was something bad that was going to happen, but it just didn't because of some lucky fate of some sort. Everybody has stuff like that. What are you talking about? The dad was the one. No, she was saying that the person throwing the kid around was having a diabetic fit, right? Isn't that what she said? Right. I think that's just what he used, and you couldn't disprove that happened. Well, where'd you go, Teresa? You disappeared right in the middle of a call. Like you were just in the middle of a sentence and it went. What was the kid doing at that guy's house? I missed that part. Yeah, well, thanks for calling in. Oh, you lost connection. Okay. I feel like I've got my eyes are like, when you hold your eyes shut and it's like a fever. That's what it feels like a little bit. How you can feel the warmth closing them. I should go check. Let me go see. So who was the kid? How old was the kid that died, and how old was the individual that killed him, and what was the relationship to them? Yeah, feels pretty normal. Yeah, I don't have a fever or anything. That was the mother's boyfriend. I think she said she was watching the baby during the killing. 2 years old. Wow. What a nightmare. Yeah, I'm a little bit off my mental game. I mean, I've done okay, but I'm just like, ugh. I was kind of wondering if I was even going to be able to do it. Killer was 20 to 25. I think he just invented that he was having a diabetic fit. You don't kill a kid throwing him against the wall in a diabetic fit. Okay, that's bullshit. Yeah, what a miracle! The mom's gone and he kills a kid, and yeah. Yeah, he said he was in the Olympics, so maybe he was doing roids and all that shit. No excuse. You hit the stream yards at the top, Kyra. Oh yeah, you can tell us your latest one. Yeah, just hit it's the link at the top. Remember how we did the stream yards like last time? It's also in the description at the very top of the video. Yeah, he's full of shit. So he just got off, had a good lawyer, got him off, and can never be tried again for the same case. How long did he get in jail? I bet he got very little time at all for that kind of sentence. It's almost like it just wasn't his fault. Just like the guy on the bus in Canada. I will in a little bit. But Cairo's going to call in, so we can do that one. Susanna tried calling in, but I clicked on it and she didn't say anything. All right, hold on. There he is. You're on the screen. All right. I'm going to show you. Hold on. Just a second.
Oh, there I am.
Yeah.
Smoking a cigarette.
We'll do it where we're both on here. Hold on.
There we go. Yeah, you can make me smaller. I don't need to be so big.
Okay, there we go. All right. We're both on. What's going on?
Nothing. Wow, why am I so big?
You were the same size on here.
Yeah, but I guess I'm watching it on a TV, so it's huge. Yeah. So, hey, first, look, check it out.
I could do it like this.
There's Lucy Pup.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me make it bigger.
Oh, baby Lucy Pup.
Oh, there it goes. All right.
I just shut my screen off. Hold up. Anyway, you couldn't even really see the puppy. There she is. Anyway, so I guess I told you the story yesterday, was it?
Uh-huh.
Well,
Yeah.
I found out more information. So I guess I should just tell the story so people in the show can hear it. So I went to a tower in Tennessee yesterday. I think it was yesterday. No, it was the day before yesterday. Anyway, I went to a tower the day before yesterday in Tennessee. And it's one that I'm always nervous about going to because they have a bunch of crazy signs that say stuff like, our security system is Smith & Wesson and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I start working, and all of a sudden I hear like gunshots coming towards me. So I thought possibly, someone was shooting at me. And I kind of like stood up against the building because I didn't want to get shot. Like it was like gunshots, super, super close. And then next thing I know, I start hearing gunshots coming from the other side of me. So I'm trying to yell that I'm an employee that's supposed to be at this tower. And I end up walking back up out of the driveway. And there's like two guys with guns standing there. And there's another dude like looking in my car. And I was like, holy shit, I thought you guys were shooting at me. And they were like, yeah, we were. Why were you shooting at us? And I was like, I'm not shooting at anybody. I don't have a gun. Well, anyway, I had to show them a bunch of paperwork to prove that like I was actually an employee supposed to be there because I was just kind of wearing black clothing. And they told me that wasn't smart to do in the woods of Tennessee because you might get shot because you're not wearing orange. Anyway, so they went off looking for the guy that was shooting the shotgun, and the company that owns the tower, I spoke with somebody from there, and they were like, "Oh yeah, there's meth labs on that property." So I didn't tell you that part the other day, but yeah, I guess that place has a bunch of meth labs. So I was in the middle of like a meth lab war. So yeah.
Oh man, that was a dangerous situation.
It very much was.
You just didn't know it at the time, really. But you were really close to something bad happening there. God.
Dude, there was literally shotgun blasts coming from one side, and I was like standing up against the building, like trying to not get shot. And then I hear like pistols coming from the other side. It was awful.
And they thought remember he was sort of questioning whether or not maybe you were part of whatever that was, right?
Yeah. He thought I was shooting at him, and that's why he said he was shooting at me. Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous.
Oh, he was shooting at you.
Yeah, he was. He was like, "Yeah, I was shooting at you. I thought you were shooting at me."
Was he trying to hit you?
No, he said he was trying to scare me, luckily.
Okay,
but then again, but that's when he warned me to not wear black clothing in the woods. He's like, "I was just trying to scare you, but you're wearing black. I could have hit you." So,
so he was sort of cool in a way, a little bit, right?
Well, I mean, not really. He was trying to shoot me.
but when he finally, the dust was settling, he was sort of cool, like, "Hey, next time don't wear black,"
Yeah, but he was the property owner, and that's the guy who has the meth lab. So
okay.
He probably wasn't too cool. But he did jump on his quad and say that he was going to take the head off the guy that was shooting. So I don't know. We should see if somebody died there.
Yeah. Well, you survived, okay?
I survived, yes. I did survive. But yeah, that was my lame true crime story.
He's got a lot of stories like that. That's where the Chewbacca sound effect came from too. Just all kinds of stuff. You need to get all that on film. Hey, where did Sarah go? She was going to come on next. She was right down there waiting to come on. Darn it. Come back, Sarah. You were next.
In case anyone doesn't know, the Chewbacca lady, I believe, was a prostitute trying to proposition me. And I do have it on video.
What a shock. We didn't figure that one out. I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to be. Yeah, of course that's what that was. Okay.
All right. Well, I heard a ding. That was a great show last night. I know a lot of people kind of felt the need to hate on it, but I thought it was pretty enlightening in a lot of ways. So
there's a lot of people hating on it in the comments, like, "Gosh, you're always talking to the trolls and shit." Hey, well, don't be a troll then. Just like your comment is right now. It's just incredible.
I did learn something on the show last night. I guess that it turns out that the person in the recording is not the killer. I think. Oh wait, never mind. That was just nonsense in the chat. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, I just got my second shot, so I'm a little bit. Jay said it's called COVID fog or something.
Yeah, my brother was like messed up for like 16 hours from that. Like he said he was in bad shape, but he's good now. You know me, I'm an anti-vaxxer, so.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how it feels. I didn't get mine. I don't want microchips in my body, so I'm not going to.
Oh God, don't say it out loud. He's kidding everybody. That's a joke.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah, I would get when you get yours though, get Pfizer. A lot more mellow than the other one.
Yeah, is it?
Apparently on average it's less. The second shot has less side effects than the other one.
I was gonna get the Johnson & Johnson actually.
Yeah, that's actually safe. I mean, you're talking one death from some weird. It's all females. It's a coagulation thing with the blood, and 7 cases out of 6-point-something million.
Yeah,
and one death, but all the treatable though. That's the thing. It's like so they actually reapproved it again, I think.
And it's like, who knows if that was even just like some coincidence shit with that many people getting it. Could have just been a total coincidence.
Yeah, that's another thing too. There's like people get vaccinated. Guess who got vaccinated first? Everybody, people that are 80-something years old, right? And then there's these deaths that happen within 2 or 3 weeks after they get vaccinated, and everybody blames it on those few deaths on the vaccine. Is that really, or is it just that out of that massive population of 80-year-old people, that some of them were going to be dying in that time frame anyways, and then you associate it with the vaccine? That's just not reality right there.
I think Cuomo has something to do with it. Okay, I'll shut up.
All right. Yeah.
All right. I'll let you go.
Well, thanks for calling in, buddy. It's always
Yeah.
good talking to you.
All right, man.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
Yeah. So where's Sarah? Was that Sarah Smile that was calling in? The line's open now, Sarah. You got to call back in. You were ready to go. You had it going, and it was just 2 more seconds later. So do it again. Nah, well, it can also just be from something else, I think. I don't think brain fog is always from the thyroid being depleted. It could just be that, you got a fever going and okay. Man, there was actually 2 more people that were on hold there, and then one left and the other one left. I guess they just didn't want to tell their stories. Not sure what the hell happened. Sarah disappeared. I bet it was Sarah's smile. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Or it could just be that you had your second dose of the the vaccine, right? Mystify. Yeah. If I had that just walking around on a Tuesday without a vaccine, maybe I would believe that, what you were saying. But I think it's more that I just got my second shot at 12:15 today, and now it's 10 hours later, and I'm not feeling terrible or anything, but I can imagine waking up in the middle of the night and not feeling as good. Why, Doman? Hey, Doman, are you even interested in true crime at all? Every comment you make has nothing to do with it. You're just like seem like you're always looking for attention or something. Yeah, what we should do is have like a regular check-in, like when Cairo's on his trip, just have him kind of check in. What's going on? Like maybe once a week or something, minimum. That'd be kind of fun. Like what was going on this week? Tell us about the what was going on your towers. what was going on? Because you got some weird shit that goes on. And also, you got to update. Let me know where you're going to be this next week, because I think next week we could try to get some stuff put in there, like cases in an area that you're going to be. Yeah. Hey, Blue, come here, Blue. Come here, Blue. Come on, buddy. Come on, Blue. Come here, buddy. Come here, Blue, right here. Come here, Blue. There we go. Right there, huh? Blue. Now you can see Blue better than normal, I think. Right, Blue. Look right there. Look right there, Blue. Look right there. Look. Look. See? Oh, jeez. Who doesn't like Blue? Come on. Come here, Chloe. Oh. And there's Chloe's turn, huh? The little mangy mutt. All right. Right, Chloe. Yeah. They're pretty good buddies, you know. If you throw a pillow outside, they both run over and jump on it. Okay. And in the sun, and you look outside and they're both laying on it like a little dog bed. Yeah. Chloe's pretty much, she's kind of like a little prima donna, sort of, you know. Just kind of does what she wants, bounces around, just. Oh, yeah? Yeah, they're awesome. Yeah. Chloe is Mary Lou, and Blue is John Boy. All right, there you go. That sucks. We had somebody that was going to call in. Sarah was waiting to talk, and then she just hung up within 30 seconds of when she was coming on. All right. Well, anyways, I guess that's going to be it tonight, you guys. Yeah, I don't know this Doman, whatever the hell his name is. He's just. Right. But how come every single one of your comments, Doman, is always some random thing that has nothing to do with what we're talking about or anything? You know, we've got plenty of those people. I would like it if you came in and you were talking about crime. That'd be great. Yeah, I don't know. I must have had rewind mode on tonight. Yep, get some rest. Why are you saying it like that way, Hope? Yeah, everybody refresh their YouTube. You're way behind, I think. I will feel netter. Mystify. I'm going to feel netter later. I'm kind of nervous to wake up in about 4 hours. Yeah. So, hey, Doman, you can send me. I like to do cold cases or missing person cases. So if you got those, you can email them to me. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, it'd be more like a story if you're just kind of aware of it. Doesn't have to be directly, but anyways, I'm done with the show. Anyways. All right. Yes, I've been drinking water all night. I've had to go to the bathroom for a while. Yeah. So, anyways, I appreciate you guys all showing up tonight. Hopefully tomorrow I'm feeling well enough to do it. I think I should. Hey Jay, what's the time frame on this? Like tomorrow, do I feel bad for some of the day and then? Yeah, it's hard to do Australian cases because they don't have any newspaper coverage of it or anything. They don't give you any detail. Some of the really old ones they had a little bit more. 24 to 48. Is that after you got the shot or after you feel your first symptom? Like if I got it 10 hours ago, does that mean I'm already 10 in? Am I 10 into that 24 or does it start kind of? Yeah, Sandy's case was crazy. Okay, cool. I'm 10 in, everybody. 10 in. I'm kind of hoping I wake up feeling just totally normal tomorrow. And basically, Jay, if I wake up tomorrow feeling normal, I'm not going to have any symptoms, right? Because that would be 20 hours in, right? And that would be weird to start getting them after that, I would think. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for showing up tonight. How do I do this? I'm gonna have to. And you guys are so far behind, like 45 seconds or so. It's wild. People are typing in now 24 to 48. Yeah, those are great calls. Every one of them. Good stuff. So thank you to Sarita, Lee D, two Aussies right out of the gate, Rita Schaefer, Cindy Leon, Kevin Brown, LM, Amber Maiden, Zozo, Michelle Nicholas, VP, Zozo, Lee D, LM, Lee D again, Rita Schaefer, Alley Cake, Carolina Girl, Amber Maiden, Ria Mazaron, and Stacy with her double cat eye donation. Very generous. Thank you very much. Cuckoo Bananas, not Cuckoo Cabanas. Cuckoo Bananas, whose birthday it was, so happy birthday. Juju Positive, happy birthday, Audra Blankenship. Angela Vincent, LM, Sherlock Hemlock, Susie Heath, Lily Rose, and Jessica Schubach. Thank you. Really appreciate it. All right. So, anyways, everybody, if you can, go out and get that vaccine. If you don't want to get it, don't try to convince anybody else not to. Just don't do it for yourself. But I would recommend getting it. You know, it's not the funnest thing in the world. Yay! I get to get a needle stuck in my arm. Yay! You know. I want to see what Jay's answer was. But you could wake up feeling bad. Yeah. Yeah, I could wake up feeling bad. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But if I wake up feeling good, it's not going to get worse than that, I would think. I think I'm going to wake up feeling shitty, though. And that way, if I don't, it'll be a surprise. So, anyways, thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all. Just remember I've a temple fucking checked ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you. Yeah, so that's what I was saying, what Juju Positive said there. My voice doesn't sound as good using StreamYard. The callers sound great. The audio doesn't sound as good. And I sort of wonder if it has something to do with the, I'm using a sound board, but it works great with Streamlabs, but not with StreamYard for some reason. So I don't know if they're having issues with that. I might be able to figure out something. I don't know. Do not know at this point, but we'll see you guys tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to do the other stuff. I'm just going to go now.
Man, Gray, you're weird.
Yeah, I know. My brain, it's a little bit foggy. Hey, we'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, everybody? Be safe out there.